So hold our heads up high and beat the drum to what we love. Risk the fall, or we have felt it all come crashing down from far above. Stars are rising, countless worlds colliding, only one will take it all. Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we make the final call? We are the ones to ignite the darkened skies, the champions of the world that we defy. A solo ride of the few who rise up high, and we all fight at the last
Hello there, everybody. Welcome back. It is week 4 of CBLOL Split 2. My name is Roodood, and I am joined by the incredible, all singing, all dancing, all producing, all casting, all everything, Rose, for today. For the time being, anyway, we know that there's a hole usually in this play-by-play role that I'm going to attempt to fill for the best part of this starting sequence. But I'm joined by Rose. Rose, how are you?
How are you? And I have done some play-by-play and some color before in the past,
all casting, as mentioned.
I will help out where I can.
And doing a great job as well at it. So it's a great little start for us today. We've got 2 incredible series, and I think, if my ears doth not deceive me, I will be joined by a different special guest in not too long a time as well. So we'll see how that ends up panning out. But to take a look, can we take a look at our we've got standings, was it, for the state at the minute?
Yes, we do. We can go look at that really quickly as we bring in our special guest over here, Trajan. Hopefully I can hear you.
Yes, I'm hoping that's a yes. Thank you
Trajan,
very much.
Let's go.
Thank you very much for holding the fort down.
I'm going to jump in. We're going to keep it moving. And we'll take a look at the standings we've got on screen here. Yeah, so Red Kalunga, obviously, have been very dominant at the start of this split. A loss in a game last weekend, but still hold that 5-0 record. And then we've got this myriad of 2-second, which is technically, I think, Furia or Fluxu, one of the two, are technically second on some different game score. Loud Leviathan, Pain Gaming, rounding out the bottom half of our table.
Yeah, absolutely. It has been it's becoming more and more sort of top-heavy feeling. Red have put some daylight in between them and the rest, but it's very much feels like on their day, Furia, Los, VKS, and now kind of Fluxu as well, which is the weirdest one. Feels like that if we put them into the arena with Red, they should be able to challenge them, and certainly any of them feel like they could beat any of the others. There's maybe a little bit of a softening on Loss and a bit of a rising on Fluxu to kind of get into that conversation. I'm sure we'll see that stratify a little bit more as the season continues, but we do have a lot of contenders. It is a league of contenders right now, and Red sitting pretty at the top, considering that the entirely new top side that they swapped in here with Zints and Steps, who have gone from strength to strength. It's hard to see if anyone's going to catch them, but the best ofs certainly give us a little bit more room, and I think the other teams are all working hard to improve. So as strong as Red look now, we're still waiting, I think, for when is the steam going to run out? When are teams going to start to solve Steps' carry style? When are teams going to be able to counter Zints and kind of the specific pool of champs he's most successful on? Are they going to be able to deny him, counter him? There certainly will be strategies in the working for Red, that's for sure.
Yeah, there's lots of things that Red have obviously got going for them currently. Zints and Steps, as you mentioned, really powerful addition to that top side, alongside one of the most successful mid laners of this current year in Kaze, Morteus, and Frosty holding it down on the bot side. Frosty, an incredible support as well. Let's take a look at their opponents, though, for today. They are going up against Los. You mentioned maybe opinions wavering a little bit on Los here, with Zest, Drake Hero, Feisty, Roodood, and Ackerman as the roster.
Yeah, it's a team that always has a sense, especially from the very get-go, that they are overperforming, that they've gelled really well, that they're greater than the sum of their parts, that their strengths look very impressive when they're happening. But this is at the same time a team that has pulled out the most negative rant from 4x4 I've ever heard in my life on one of the recent Gringos Liberados episodes. He was bearish to an astonishing degree on this team, and very much kind of felt that they were being oversold, that they weren't a real contender, that they're just going to go back to 4th and 5th. And right now, it does feel like it's kind of bearing out. It feels like as a team, they are no longer necessarily better than their individuals. The individuals' talent is still very clear, but we stalled out on the development side. We're not necessarily playing better as a 5-stack, and a lot of the teams around them are actually improving in that regard.
So there's this necessity to try and to use an old adage, to make 5 fingers a fist, almost like come together. These individuals start to try and play this team style of League of Legends that we are hoping for. And I mean, for the first of or for the single round robin that we have, even though it's best of 3, you get one shot against Red, and if you can make it stick, then incredible. But so far, no team has, and that has proven to be quite tricky almost for Los. And you mentioned this sort of downward trajectory, even though they're 3-2 at the minute. Expectation is that should they go to playoffs, feels like they're going to be a washed out.
Yeah, they really suffered in the best of Fearless stage in the CBLOL Cup. They were best of 1 Andes, as it were, and they came out first in the regular season, and then once we got into best ofs, the Fearless element really seemed to hinder them. Now, I think they've got over that hurdle. Their pools are deeper than they were, and they're not suffering in that same way, but it's the actual team play, it's the actual on-the-rift action that is letting them down a bit more now, and that's a bit harder to fix, I fear. So, and against Red, who are the best on the Rift team, they play super well together, they're individuals, they're one of the only teams who can challenge Los directly at a hands level. It's kind of Red and Furia seem to be the best options there. So this matchup doesn't feel great for Los right now, but if they're actually going to show us a bit of movement, a bit of development, now is the time to show it, because I don't feel like Red are perfect. I think they're just very good and very overwhelming. But I feel like there are gaps there, as you say. We've seen their first game loss handed to them recently. There's definitely something to be done here. Someone's just got to find out the solution.
And hopefully, for Los here, they can turn themselves to a 4-2, be the first team to take down Red and close up that daylight that you mentioned that they have made for themselves. Obviously, Red themselves at the minute have got a really difficult strength of schedule left up, with it being single round robin. They play up against Furia next week, so not an easy set of games by any means. But we are into the draft now, Trajan. We have got some picks on our screen. And the Ezreal Nami lane down on the bot side, look that Los Grandes lock in, this sort of range poke style has been met with even greater range and even maybe slightly greater engage as well. With that Nico Caitlyn bot lane duo, I'm expecting a lot of presence to be felt down on this bot side by these two junglers.
Yeah, I find it interesting watching the development of this bot lane meta as it's gone, where we had these kind of set duos of Corki Nami and Ashe Seraphine and Ezreal Bard, and we've now kind of splintered them into, we're mix and matching. People are trying to find ways to break up those power duos to not give them over wholesale to their opponent, and now we're doing Corki Karma, and we're doing Ezreal Nami, and we're doing Lucian Seraphine, and we're doing like a bunch of weird stuff to try and kind of stop their opponents getting their premium options here. Ezreal Nami is one that we haven't seen too much of. It's not, and I'll be honest, given the rest of the bans that have come through, the other enchanters denied, I don't know if maybe I would have preferred to see like the Ezreal Anivia come back that we have seen before into a Caitlyn Nico, give them a bit more defense there. I wonder if Ackerman's going to be a little vulnerable to just being hard engaged on and dived. So we'll see how they can play it out. Ackerman has had a pretty strong start. The bot lane, I think, for Los has been consistently that most shining light for them. And their 2v2 prowess is certainly not to be discounted.
Alrighty, well, we'll see how that fares as we move into the game. With the current state of these compositions, we haven't got particular identities just yet. We've got early skirmish junglers, and we've got relatively strong teamfight marksmen. So we're really waiting for that rounding out of the composition to come through in this second phase as the Orianna gets locked in for Feisty. Teamfight presence seeming to be the name of the game. That protection with the Akali and the Sylas bans from earlier on, making this safe mid lane pick for Feisty.
Yeah, we're gonna have a blind pick rumble here potentially for Zints up there. Zest is probably our strongest 1v1er in top lane right now. He has made absolute fools out of Gigo, out of Robo, out of all of kind of our traditional lane prowess, lane dominant top sides, and he now has the counter pick to play with, so we'll see what he can do in that last position. It's interesting as well that the Orianna, from being permabanned for so long, has now been left all the way through, despite there being 4 mid lane bans in that second rotation. Orianna was not one of them. And they've gone through into Feisty's hands, and this guy is not to be discounted in the 1v1 either, though of course Kazi, I think, is still pretty much king of the hill there, and with the LeBlanc pick, I think he agrees. I think he still feels like he's king of the hill.
Yeah, taking that pretty early, well, not pretty early, but pretty confidently, I'd say. Never really wavered from the hover, let's say. So Kaze going to be looking to try and put some hurt down onto Feisty, and I think he's got some really good targets as well. When you see double squishy bot lane, feels really good as a LeBlanc to be able to, well, to be honest, pop anybody that you see, right? You've got 3 members on the enemy side that you'll be able to take down. We do see the Cassante locked in by Zest, and there was room here for the Gnar to be picked up. It looks like that would have been a great denial away, especially from Zints. You highlighted that Zest probably our best 1v1 top laner. Zints feels like probably the next best that we've got, I think, in terms of solo kills. You guys were chatting about it on Gringos Liberados earlier. Zints, I think, just barely beating Zest.
Yeah,
solo
10
kills.
to 9 going into this week. Yep.
10 to 9. So, I mean, this is the series to decide it, really, isn't it? Who's going to have the hands to be able to take one another down?
Yeah, Zints has just pipped him on the solo kills, but has like been farming Robo for like 4 in one game. You know, he's been stat padding a little bit, I think, on that one. But he is undoubtedly very strong. He warmed up into this split Zints after the first couple of weeks and is now very strong. So with the Cassante, obviously it's a classic Rumble counter, and it does give you a bit more skill expression than your traditional kind of tank absorption option. So Zints is going to have to be on his best behavior, or Zest will be punishing him heavily, and the team fight, I think, is where we can see a little bit more out of Zest here for sure, using that all out to its greatest effect. But ultimately, I think these drafts, I'm pretty happy with them either side. It really is going to have to be, as we say, it's going to have to be on the Rift that Lowe's proved to me that they're going somewhere at this point, right? Red, I know where they're going. They're building up this top side. They're showing building a bit of depth into Steps' champion pool. They're showing a bit of resilience through, you know, leads versus deficits in the early game. And then that mid and bot side is just absolutely rock solid for me. Kaze, Morteus, and Frosty have been so consistent. Their hands are through the roof. Morteus is so much less volatile than Rebello was for Red, and they can rely on him so well, and he can team fight super effectively. Like, that bot side is just absolute premium stuff for Red, and if they can keep this top side growing in the way they have been, we're going MSI fast, you know.
And honestly, I really wouldn't mind a split where we just have one clear dominant team that we send to an international. It's been a while, right, since we had like a Loud from 2022 that just went to destroy everybody in a
Yeah.
season. So I'm hankering a little bit for it. I wouldn't be against, Red just dumpstering the competition, 3-0 finals, and then seeing what a really solid CBLOL team can do at International.
Yeah, for sure. Because ultimately, either you have like a very contested top side and everyone's, helping each other improve rapidly, but it kind of implies that everyone's got flaws that need to be fixed, and necessarily everyone's going to go in there with some sort of problem, and they're all struggling to cohesively put consistent wins on the board. Whereas having that one single dominant team, especially as for a team like Red that has been through that stage of being close to the top and developing these players like Frosty, like Kaze, Zinz and Steps on the academy side, they have been building these guys for a long time. It's not like they just found an accidental winning super team formula and now they're the best team,
This is a product of Tier 2 development. Take note.
Yes.
Every other region, or every other Western region, I should say. But as we get a little bit of a look into this tri-lane setup, you'd highlighted that this is a good counter for Zest on that top side. But these teams, as we do see, level 2's coming on bot side.
Yeah, they're looking for it. Boteas is dropping lower and lower, and the first blood secured for Dudu and Ackerman. This is how they entered the CBLOL scene, by taking scalps off our best top laners when we didn't even necessarily know how Dudu was going to do, but even now, he is still knocking down the best of them.
And doing it relatively easily as well. That was a level 2 spike that they took, and I mean, Morteus didn't even flash, so yes, that spell's still available, but you'd like to think that in future you'd be trying to use that to dodge out on some of the skill shots of Ezreal, or maybe at the very least try and trade something on back, especially with this bot lane. I'm expecting the Caitlyn and the Nico to be able to play out that range, be able to use good amounts of poke. Instead, not the case. Looks like the Ezreal's got just enough range to handle the Caitlyn and really make it feel quite tricky, as we see in the mid lane as well. Kaze having the best run of things up against Feisty, either down in CS, down on those trades as well. Being forced to distort backwards is not what you want.
They're really reaching for that level 2, and they just cannot find it for like 3 seconds.
I mean, Duda has an excellent flash. He flashes over the Caitlyn trap there, or the Caitlyn net even, to make sure that that headshot doesn't come through, that he's not slowed up, that he can continually chase. And that's like the pixel perfect best flash that you could have looked for. Means that he's securing that kill without any shadow of a doubt.
Strong start for Los Grandes, and as we see across the board, comfortable advantages building on that top side individually, plus the first blood in bot side. This is what Los Grandes feel, they look best when they have the lead. I know it's a little bit bottom text to say that, but like, ultimately, it feels like they need the lead quite a lot to succeed is the point, right? They're not so great at pulling the comebacks. If they fall behind early, they do seem a little bit lost on the map, so this should hopefully give them a bit of impetus to play through. And then for the side of Red, what's the answer going to be from Steps, this Pantheon jungle that can be so impactful early on? We've seen players like Tattoo show what this champion can do.
If I'm looking at this game for Red right now, it is survive as best as possible early, and Morteus and Frosty down on this bot side, they're getting kind of handed the bot lane to them right now. Mid lane as well, I think Kaze, he just needs to eat it and say, okay, can I recall now? And then TP back in as Steps and Drake Hero fight.
Oh, they're trying to commit for the skill in the jungle, but the flash is traded. Drake Hero cannot get in there, and Kaze, not punished at all, sticks around and gets the kill to walk away with it. I'm sure Feisty is a little miffed.
What do I know? I'm just a caster. Stick around on 20% HP, kill enemy jungler.
If that,
I mean, that's... Yeah, you're right. Feisty, unlucky. That's not your bad, but nevertheless, you have to deal with the consequences now.
Yep. Such is the life.
Interrupted recall.
The mid laner. Yeah, it's pretty tough. He's pretty human. He was going into that trade, but he has like Orianna autos to play with, but there's nothing he can do to keep Drake here. We'll take a look at this play again, and even Frosty, even Feisty wants to leave. He's trying to recall himself. Yeah,
I mean, that was the perfect opportunity for both of, or for everybody really, to just sort of take an opportunity, take a step and go, all right, we're done here. Red very wisely recognized the differences in mana pool and make the trade work, right? Feisty just didn't have the resources to be able to take that fight. Kaze had enough to get one more spell rotation, and as luck would have it, it was enough to find the kill. Electrocute proc takes out Drake Hero.
Yeah, we have seen that Feisty's been able to match Kaze in the lane better than most traditionally. He came in and felt like he was very reliant on map movement to kind of support mid laners like Galio and Talia, and he still absolutely is very strong at those picks, but he does have 1v1 potential that even into our strongest players, and we've seen that on the Orianna that was let through the bans this time around. Sadly, it has not stopped Kaze getting a kill on his jungler instead. So Red have solved that early issue. They still have to consider how this bot lane is going to play out. We can see they're pretty pushed up right now, so it seems like with some base levels and some damage put into their abilities, they are managing to manage this 2v2 a little better. And now we're going to see what the response is going to be from Los, as Kaze he's trading heavily, but he's not trading favorably. He's just trading well.
He's doing lots of trades. Are they working out? Not so much, but bot lane again, E forward there, very aggressive from Roodood, not with the Tangle Barbs to dodge, so feels like recognizing the window there. It did end up costing barrier and heal for everybody down on that bot side, so again, just sort of flexing, working out who's got the best shoes to take this fight.
I do enjoy that bot lane is now just like, every time you fight at all, you drop all your defensive summoners as soon as anything starts happening. We're maximizing cooldown usage on bot side. We're not saving it for the play. Frosty flashes for the barbs, can't find it. In comes the Pantheon ult 2 onto Dudu. He's so low and steps with the spears rocketing out, does pick that kill up. And the flash still unused, sadly. Could not keep him alive there.
I mean, I think it could have kept him alive.
Well, yeah, could's the wrong word. It didn't keep him alive.
Yeah.
He didn't press it, but...
I think if he'd have used it, he may well have lived. I don't know, that Pantheon stun range, it's not too big, and if we'd have been able to buy space with it, who knows what could have happened. Not to cast aspersions on how that play could have gone, but I do feel like there was an opportunity to live there for Dudu. But either way, it's Morteus who's able to benefit, goes back, picks up the components of a collector, and say what we will about the early laning phases of Los Grandes at the minute. Red have been just that little bit better when it comes to finding steps, angles into the game. Found one kill in the mid lane, another kill now on that bot side, that first Grand Starfall, making it work. And we know that Pantheon can do so well. We will see if they can continue to do more.
And we will see if he uses flash in the Drake fight, Rose. Let's find out if he's got it cooking for this one. If he E flashes forwards for the critical kill on Morteus or whatever, sure, love to see it. And we'll see if the machinations are in service of something in the future. But for now, Red are now comfortably 1,000 in the lead. They've kind of stabilized that bot lane at least. There's still a minor lead for Dudu, but Caitlyn and Nico should be able to play this out. Kaze still loving to trade more than anything else. And it's kind of stabilized that top side. The CS leads have been eliminated. The gold has been placed where it needs to be. And Red can kind of just step forward right here. If you're this point, you see him, Zest even just equalizing to clear out the wave in top side, just trying to push Zest under pressure, keep him out of the play. And Steps does look like he might be tending towards a dragon right now, working on the scuttle. And with the prior he has, it seems like it's a freebie. Yeah,
at this stage, Caitlyn presses Q, auto attacks backline, minions die. So it's really easy for the Caitlyn to establish push, especially versus an Ezreal, one of these champions that just has zero push whatsoever. Not really a problem. Kaze had been finding favorable trades now in that mid lane, just sort of smashing his head against a brick wall. Eventually it sticks, and as soon as one chain lands, the trades start getting good. Feisty has been doing a good job at dodging it, but sort of gets hit by one, and that's then the problem.
Yeah, that's it's going to be a tough one to solve for sure. And Los Grandes now back in that small deficit position where they have struggled to make plays from before. They will at least have, they'll have Ezreal, mid-game spikes to play through Xin Zhao as well. They'll have a Xin Zhao plus Orianna plus Nami Wave kind of engage combination, potentially with Zest on the flanks if they can unlock him from that top side. They've got tools to put together, but we'll see if they can actually leverage them. As the first dragon being down without a fight means there's over 4 minutes now before the next opportunity for a standard 5v5 will develop. And if we're just leaving Red to lane, generally it's pretty tough. Kaze is forcing it on to Feisty, taking again the quote-unquote bad trade, only setting the stage for Steps to fly in and pick up some more gold. Drake Hero has to run for the hills back to the safety of the tower. They're looking for more. Kaze's going deep for it, and they find the kill. Is Steps going to live from the tower as well? 2v2 bot lane at least. Los Grandes can still rely on Dudu and Ackerman to come through clutch. And Kaze did go down mid lane, potentially to a minion. I'm not sure, but he was very low.
The minions will have Taking Kaze out, we'll have to see how the wave looks in that mid lane. I mean, Kaze has TP even, so he'll be able to get back there, no problem, no problem at all. But for me, that was the definition of Kaze having Feisty on strings. Like, chain 1, 2 chains go through, he dodges the shockwave with his distortion, and I mean, that just feels bad for Feisty, to be honest, because he just gets absolutely played like a fiddle. Steps and Kaze do a really good job here, though. Steps knows, okay, Kaze's going to have a round of cooldowns coming back up soon. And unfortunately for Kaze, he was the one taking minion aggro. Looks like the wave is good. What happened down on the spot side? Looks like, yeah, just gets caught here. Trying to walk around that choke, and instead... Okay.
He just thinks he wins.
Yeah, just thinks he wins. I thought he got caught and got killed. Instead, he decided to flash in. Or not flash in, but... go in, and didn't have the damage that he thought he did. Actually, just good flashes, to be honest. But
got caught in a prison of his own mind, and sadly was taken down there. So Frosty with an uncharacteristic misstep, but it does give more damage into Roodood, trying to get onto that Triforce ASAP, given the rest of the map. Especially that mid-jungle side is suffering a little bit for Los Grandes now, because these Zints and Zest still trading off pretty standardly upside. It looks like Zints has not so far fallen into a trap of over-pushing into a Cassante. We do see people walk themselves into the enemy turret and get knocked back if they're not careful, but Zints, despite having that push, has kept himself safe from the potential catch threat.
And as we look at, you know, the potential scaling for both of these two top laners, right, so far it's a little bit of an advantage for Zints based off of the plate that's gone his way. But when we move into this mid game, you're giving Rumble the advantage as you move into the late game. I like what Zest should be able to do to try and maintain space on Morteus and make sure that he's the one who's feeling a little bit of pressure. Caitlyn, about to enter that, you know, one item spike. That collector is on board. And the next recall is going to be really, really impactful. This is that break point where the Caitlyn needs to get a BF sword. Frosty.
Ooh, he's flashing in, but Drake Hero's ready and waiting. So was Steps, though. Roodood cannot escape, and the only champion with any gold on loss has already gone down. Nami quickly follows it up. 3-0 and 3 for Steps, and the funnel our jungler strategy for Red continues to hold strong.
And Frosty there, we thought he might be sort of tossing the life away, but he had his jungler in support as well. Flashed in, and I really don't know how he lived there. Just catching Dudu off guard. Like, he should not have lived. It should have been a trade. It should have been a 2-for-1. And I feel like as soon as that Pantheon ulti came down, and quite rightly, Los lost their heads. Really good pickup, really nice positioning for Red in this game. 2.4k gold to the good. Jungle role quest completed for Steps as he goes back to base, picks up. Well, he already had the Sundered Sky and a work towards a Phage item, but let's take a look. It's Frosty here, getting caught out, picked up by Poke, and it feels like you get knocked up like this. That should be dead as all donuts, but Drake Hero, he steps back here, goes to try and peel his marksman. I can understand the idea, but if you get that kill, it's a much easier fight to take, and then you're in position to start wailing away onto Morteus. He can't step up either. It feels like there was a little bit of a missed opportunity there by Drake Hero as he dashed in and then immediately backed away.
Steps is just kind of chest bumping him out of the play. He's like, oh, you were waiting to counter gank bot lane? No. Just drops on his head like a ton of bricks, takes his own AD carry down, forces him out of the play, and then just walks away. Like, remember that, bro. So I think Steps is definitely feeling himself right now. He's once again playing on the front foot as he always does in these games. That's why they're giving him Xin Zhao's, Pantheons, Aatroxes. He's holding down the front of those team fights every single time. Lost with a little bit of vision to try and play for a potential catch if Red choose to approach the dragon right now. We'll see if they can safely make it into this objective. Frosty sweeping through the bot side is going to get there, but Lost already working on the Drake itself. Steps doesn't have the ult to get into range, but he does have a flash for a stun. He just walks up and smites it. I guess it's just that easy. Flashes to safety, gets the stun. In comes Frosty with a triple pot blossom. Kaze's deep into the pit, fighting it out with Roodood. Zints has arrived, Zest following in as well. We're all going for this play. And now Roodood has actually managed to get out of the pit by eating and portaling over. He's waiting in the brush right now. Morteus is going to discover him. There's a heal to come through, and Zints will cook him down. But now Feisty's found the rumble. Morteus has been left on his own, and the barrier can't keep him alive. Kaze has a look over the wall. but somehow Los Grandes the one who clawed their way out of that play ahead.
Oh, Kaze not quite the strong enough LeBlanc just yet. Unloads his full combo onto Dudda, who's able to barrier it, and then just goes on the wildest ride an Ezreal has ever been on. Sneaks into the bush on the backside of the play and then gets jump scared as somebody else comes to face check it. I didn't watch the rest of the fight, to be honest. I was too busy focusing on what on earth Dudu and Kaze were doing. And if you didn't watch it the first time, it makes for good watching. So check out those two on the bot side of the fight while we go through the top side here. Frosty has a good time of things with a good Pop Blossom, but unfortunately, great TP flank from Zest. He's able to get in and start doing so much work again. This Cassante actually very, very strong at this stage. Nobody's hitting Feisty. Nobody's able to collapse onto the Orianna, who's consistently churning out those autos, getting those spell rotations going. And yeah, eventually has to force the flash out, but really solid performance from Los Grandes. Those 5v5, something that Red so frequently touted for, not quite coming out just yet.
Yeah, the team fighting from Los Grandes still on display, and they've managed to keep that gold lead consistent, or the gold deficit, I should say, at about 1,000 for a little while now, despite the kills going back and forth. Now, Red at least walked away with the Drake. We did see Steps just walk up and smite it without any real... I don't think he even speared it. He just kind of walked up and went, thank you, that's mine. So Drake here is going to have to worry about a looming Hextech Soul coming over the horizon for Red if he cannot get control of that Dragon Pit later today, but so far Red at least have not been able to snowball too far. With a LeBlanc, with a Rumble, with a Pantheon, you potentially expect them to really accelerate out of a lane lead, but they have been held at arm's length by Los.
Yeah, this is like a 1-2 item spiking team right here. Like, they are going to go crazy around this exact timer, so we'll see if they can actually do that. As we do get to see a Proto Belt in for Feisty. Really good to be able to dodge those chains, but this is a Kaze who's being swarmed right now, Frosty.
Frosty gets another couple of catches. Dudu is getting burst down by the combination there. Morteus and Steps arrive to finish the job. And the lane lead, the 2-0 Ezreal, has become a 2-4 Ezreal pretty quickly.
And that was an excellent pick by Frosty. Just lands a Tangle Barbs, then knows that he can follow up. Morteus is there with traps ready to go. A really solid duo if you can chain together that CC. And you get to see why. Now it's Frosty moving with Steps up to this top side to put a little bit of pressure back down into this mid matchup. Good early recall though from Feisty does get him out of dodge. Got that mid lane enhanced recall, and I've entirely misread that because it wasn't Feisty. He TP'd away instead, actually. Went to the mid lane, it looks like.
Yeah, not interested. Just going to head out to a different district. It's going to clear out this, get this wave pushed in. Morteus, obviously, the Caitlyn now has hit that 2-item spike themselves. I think it's, I was about to say, we'll talk about the Caitlyn build in a second, but we've got the Herald coming down here. Looks like Los are going to easily crack this. We'll see if Red has an answer, if they want to try and force a play on the back of it. Steps does have the Grand Starfall available, but so far, I think Red are happy to just seed that mid lane. Drake here has been popped out of it, actually. Leaves him a little bit in the lurch in mid lane. He is going to go in, does have a Crescent Guard to go through. He's gone into the thick of it, Steps on the front line. He's actually going to be picked off. Red reach for the jungler, but they're the ones who lose their own. Now Kazi's over the wall, looking for a potential flank. The top laners are just chilling in bot side, and Los Grandes, as Red reach for them, they slap the hand away.
Yeah, Steps there, just getting a little bit too overzealous, trying to go for Drake Hero, who, you know, by all means, looks like he was caught out there, got knocked out of the Herald, didn't really have too much team support. But the team immediately rally back behind him. They come back to defend their jungler, who goes back in with that Crescent Guard and actually makes really good work of this Pantheon. Not really been able to get their foot fully off the ground into this mid-game just yet. A little bit of support for Kaze from Frosty as he tries to get a little bit of damage onto this tier 1 on that top side. But I'm looking around now. Who are Red relying on as we get later on into this game? Kaze for sure needs to be able to pop Dudda, needs to be able to pop Ackerman if they ended up walking into him. Waiting for that Shadow Flame to come online. He's got the tier 3 boots and the Sork shoes at that. So full pen, full damage, full ability to try and take out these squishies. And then you have to look at Morteus, who at the minute is in a little bit of a trough in terms of their Caitlyn power. The Collector, the Rapid Fire, and a little bit of Quick to go alongside it. Even though Dudda's behind in gold, he's the stronger marksman right now.
Yeah, it feels like we obviously had this concept of sort of the 2-item trough, the mid-game trough for Caitlyn in previous seasons and previous splits, but we saw the change into the reintroduction of Storm Razor that people were using, the Hextech optics that people were using as first items right now. I feel like I haven't seen Collector Caitlyn in quite a while. It seems like we've been going for these other sort of new crit options instead.
And I mean, especially versus a Cassante, you would expect that crit as opposed to the lethality.
Yeah.
But this is Mosquito Jin, but on Caitlyn. So we'll see whether or not it actually works out. If anything happens, as Zest is getting TP'd on by double MR champions.
Let's see what Zest can do right here. He does have his Merc Treads on the go. The Kainic Shield has been cooked away. The Equalizer is perfectly placed. It gets the flash down, but there's a root from the chain. Kazi's going to land another one, and do they have enough cooldowns to get him over the line? Flash in from Zinz gives Zest a path away. But Kazi can follow, and Zinz gets the kill. So that certainly took a whole lot of scratching and clawing, but they did get the kill over the line.
Yeah, they landed everything, and the Cassante died, which feels good. That won't happen as we move a little bit later on into the game for these two champions.
It's the last time I was going to see it, but, you know.
Pretty much, as good route comes through. Don't think this is the play that they think it is, as once again, it's Drake Hero with an ulti, so they've sort of learned their lesson. I love the Titanic Hydra as well, or Drake Hero, just a small thing. You can get an insta-Q, really, as this Xin Zhao. You auto... press the Q for the auto reset Titanic, and then you end up with a really, really fast Q to knock somebody up.
Optimization there for Drake Hero to try and find someone on the front line, get that CC chain going, as Red did manage to match the tower take in top side. They obviously lost their bot lane to Los Grandes as well. So again, the gold lead is still, it's basically the same. We're now up to kind of 1.5 almost, depending on who's currently catching waves at that point in time. So Red have been unable to really wrench control of this game away from Los. They're relatively even trades across the board. Feisty holding on to a lead. Admittedly, a big chunk of that is Ackerman, who is not obviously the most impactful player to have a 500 gold lead on. But they are still holding control of this game for the time being. As you said, Zest is only going to get stronger. He's going to become harder and harder to deal with. Mortea still needs to get out of this power trough that he's currently in. So they kind of have to just work around the Kasane for the next few minutes.
Looks like they're trying to work to take him down once again. But he's got 3,500 HP plus a Kernic Rucken shield. So it's not the easiest pick to try to go for, really at all. But
no.
I think that the later the game gets, the easier it gets for Los. They're going to have that Ezreal who's not really going to be under too much threat outside of this LeBlanc. And provided you've got an Arcane Shift, it should be quite easy to navigate that 1v1. You're going to have the shielding from the Orianna as well, the heals coming from the Nami. I do think that sort of playing versus these enchanters as much as the LeBlanc tends to find that the target that they can typically take down, actually playing into them is quite tricky because there's heal, shield, CC also to throw at you. And I wouldn't be surprised if Kaze has a bit of a difficult time of things in these team fights.
Yes, he really does have to have the execution on point with a pick like LeBlanc, with the full burst. It's not even any kind of extended damage. He can't just be kind of rotating through spells to keep Leandri's ticking or anything like this. He needs to burst the target, get out of there, and try and survive. And now Kaze, as one of our most mechanical mid laners, probably the best mid laner in the league, arguably one of the best, if not the best player in the league right now by a lot of metrics. This guy, you know, we have a lot of faith in him to achieve goals like this, but let's see what Loss can do to stop him. Dudu, despite the focus that goes onto his head, we know that he is also one of our most up-and-coming talents, probably one of the most vulnerable people to these attacks. Ackerman as well, that bot lane gonna be likely a common target here, as Loss have been able to just keep on kind of absorbing these waves, absorb these pushes, soaking up what they need. They did get the last dragon as well, so they stopped the stacking from Red Canids, and they can start building up their own Hextech Soul as we stretch forward. About a minute till that next one comes up, and I imagine we're going to have to wait until that comes through. Loss, probably going to be worried about a potential a pick coming out of a Pantheon early on before that play, but if they can get into position and look for another 5v5, worked great for them last time.
I think this is going to be the 5v5 that really decides which way the game starts swinging. So far, it feels quite even, despite the fact that Red have this small gold lead, but the next fight, wherever it goes, is going to start to open something up. We'll start taking some really big ticket objectives at that stage, and if it's a complete wipe, Baron is still on the cards for either one of these sides. But for the time being, it's the Red Canids who are still just barely exerting themselves with a little bit of pressure. That first move from Zinz out of the top lane has given him that first move and given Red that first little itching of priority. The issue that they're going to find here, Los Grandes, is that they are still the team that has an Ezreal versus a Caitlyn. As far as that wave clear goes, the Caitlyn going to be much easily more able to clear out those minions.
Caitlyn trap wall being slowly picked across by Los Grandes. Feisty, who lost the Verdant Barrier shield. Kaze threatening on a flank, but is being marked by the Oriana. Zints on another side as well, steps away from the bubble. The new set of traps going down in the river. Red are gonna try and find the answer here. Los Grandes really want to force their way through, but they're taking a lot of damage for the trouble. Drake Hero suffers at the hands of Nico and Caitlyn. Steps is just doing blue buff while his team completely manhandles Lost as Zest has managed to break through. Frosty gets it and gets two more. There's the Pantheon engage, and Feisty is eliminated without a second thought. Frosty traded by Dudu, and Steps now looking for Drake Hero as the jungle's been isolated. Morteus finds the credit. Zintz holding down the front line, pushes Lost back to their mid lane turret, and Red have come out the victors this time as Morteus is suffering a little bit. Dudu catches him, forces the trade, but Kaze picks up the double. Both the Los Grandes bot laners are knocked out by LeBlanc.
Yeah, that's two for the price of one there in the back half of the play. Obviously, the Dragon and the initial fight went their way in the same fashion. A 2 for 1 that way also, as the Red Canids find a excellent fight. The Dragon's going to go their way also. And Los Grandes, I mean, this composition has crucially lacked one thing, and it's engage. As we look back at, hopefully, the replay of this fight, they just walk up. How does Los Grandes ever engage? Zest goes for a Hail Mary play there onto the Nico, who decides, oh, great, you're going in at the same time we are. Perfect, let's just swap places, and I'll have your backline. Morteus, you've missed him, so you're not going to get that either. And they just stood for so long around the Dragon, taking headshots, taking Morteus poke from standing on traps, that they came into the fight with a disadvantage anyway. Yeah, what are they doing? Rightly so.
Yeah. Red are very happy. Bailsy can hardly believe what he's seeing right now. He is very, very happy with how that fight played out on Los Grandes. He just did not have the strategy to work their way through what Red was putting down on Morteus. Even if he dies at the end, got almost 8,000 damage out of that inventory, you know, pre-30 minutes. This is pretty big stuff. He's accelerated into Infinity Edge and Last Whisper. He is decidedly out of the power trough, and now it's going to have to be a big, big problem for Los Grandes.
Like, you can't just stand on traps in front of this Caitlyn. The trap wall is there for a reason. It's because it hurts. So if you just sit there and get hit by them, that is not good. But looking forward, 3.5 minutes away from that next Drake spawning, and that's going to be the fight that Red want to take. Secure themselves that soul, and then stepping on those Caitlyn traps is going to be even less favorable. If you can find the completion on that Last Whisper as well, that's going to do you even more work. 100% crit chance, the ability to cut through Zest as well, whose gold has slowly slowed down in this match, and Zinz has continued to be able to farm. Bloodletter's Curse already picked up, going to do insane amounts of work, not just for him, but for Kaze as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Kaze, who has the Void Staff locked into, so much of that magic resist is just useless for Los Grandes now, and that Kaze burst is going to be massive. We saw what he did to Dudu and Ackerman at the end of that last play. Even with single spells, he is taking huge chunks off the opponent's HP bars. As Red have put together a sort of partial trap line in the jungle here. Don't know if they were setting up for a Baron push or something, but they've walked it away.
I mean, this is the time for Drake Hero to try and step on those traps, right? You see the Caitlyn in the mid lane, it's not that long range, so this is the time to try and take away that trap wall, but not successful in that venture. Instead, takes another one as Drake Hero takes a headshot. Morteus takes a true shot barrage, and like I say, just walk on these traps, guys. Like, it's not a big deal. We know the Caitlyn's in Narnia. Please just hit it. The idea that I wanted to get to, though, is that, yes, we talked about all of the MR on Los Grandes, but let's take a look at the armor. Outside of Zest, there is not a lick of armor across any of these carries. So if Morteus gets on top of them, that's just going to be Caitlyn absolutely obliterating them.
Yeah, we see the ult come on onto Ackerman, followed up with Pantheon. The vision they had deep in the jungle shows them an isolated support, and they do not hesitate to knock him over.
And quite easily as well, right? With Ackerman not having flash there, he just gets picked off. You mentioned the lingering vision being the crucial part of that. Now Steps just hops onto Zest. Not really a target that they're looking for. This is all the while down on that bot side, as you can see in the picture-in-picture. Zinz working his way through that tier 2 turret. Got, I think, 2 plates down there. Was looking and itching for a third to get even more gold. And we'll take a look quickly at some of these bounties, just because if you get picked up by Los Grandes, it can turn the game back in their favor quite quickly. Take a look at that 700 gold sat on Kaze's head.
Yes, there is a lot of gold to be picked up if Red get a little bit too big for their boots, if they start to push too hard. We've seen that Los Grandes do have the ability to find a counter punch if the opportunity is afforded them. But Red now with control of the map. They finally managed to break through that wall that Lost had put up and have extended their gold lead almost to 5,000. A minute left until the Hextech Soul to play for, and Red have almost full control over the map. You can see them especially laying down those blue trinkets, getting an idea of what's going on in that bot side jungle to either look for more plays to give them idea if Zinz can push safely, and I imagine we'll see them start to rotate into that bot river pretty shortly to get those trap line down and ask Los if they have a better answer than last time, because it seemed to confound them pretty heavily last time.
TP's coming down. This is that big shield. Kaze has TP as well, but he's pushing up in that top side. So it's Los Grandes who are the ones who are pressured here, given the burden of execution. You're the ones who have to do something here. And their answer is send Feisty to go and answer Kaze on that top side. Zinz is spotted here. They know that this rumble is on a little bit of an off angle. They know that they're going to be expecting the overheater to come through from one side. Got that stopwatch ready though. Zonya's has been completed, so an opportunity for him to make a bit of an outplay in this fight. Drake spawning in 5 seconds, and take a look. That LDR has been finished. Here comes the TP from Kaze.
Zinz has gone back to get the push bot lane under control. They'll see him on that vision wave, or the minion wave, I should say. So Los Grandes know that now Zinz is actually putting the recall, and maybe they're just seeding it. It looks like Red, they don't feel comfortable with this, or at the very least, they're going, well, they've abandoned top lane. Let's just trade it for gold.
Yeah. Zest has no TP. Feels like they're giving gold to Kaze here, and they might want to go for a YOLO Baron. I think that blue ward is then just the, yeah, okay, we're not getting it. All good. We were just making sure you were watching. And, you know, they were. Drake Hero takes a big chunk, big headshot from Morteus, and you can see that the no armor's in Zao takes a lot of damage from a Caitlyn.
Yes, and the trap line's gone down into that brush right now. Zest is going to check it. He's going to slip past, as Red are still a little bit scattered right now over the river. Kaze has gone back to base, TPing back into topside. Deathcap completed, 4 items deep on this mid LeBlanc. And Los Grandes are now feeling the risk. They're backing out of their own jungle here. So this time, Red have got the objective river under their control. The trap line's gone down again. We'll see if they actually start up this Baron. Looks like they're working on it.
I mean, that's clearly the call there, isn't it, Kaze? Let me get Deathcap and I'll go. Now they're fighting.
We've burst the Drake Hero ultimate, and Kaze's running rings around them. One more Q should get it. The W finds the kill, and now Drake Hero is already done. The smite taken off the table, and Red Canids, they're strolling back to the Baron pit.
Yeah, no jungler, but Feisty, Duda, they've still got a lot of HP here. We might well see the teleport in, that big HP shield, come to bear as well, but just one headshot is doing so much work as well.
Zinz gets tagged by the True Shot Barrage. Kaze's coming out of the base once again. He messes up his distortion over the wall. It's going to take a little longer to get there, as Zest is trying to find his way onto Frosty. Forces the play. The ult only catches onto Frosty. His Steps is dropping very, very low. Zest gets one. Steps is still alive. Dudu's hunting for more. Somehow he does get away with a kill onto Kaze, but he's traded by the Pantheon. And Cassante is left on his own. Buffers the all-out to get onto Morteus, but it sets up the triple kill as Red pulled together the ace. A scrappy 4v5 for Los Grandes, but ultimately they cannot push it through.
Yeah, and in that 4v5, it is pretty close there. And I mean, maybe if there was just a little bit better execution from Duda, if he dodges one skill shot, dodges anything, he can start going crazy there, or just plays it a little bit more patiently. Feel like the Ezreal was popping off, doing so much work, but then just sort of committed to going in on a one-way trip. But it's the Baron that gets picked up by Red, and we can see that the damage that Dudu's doing, but we can equally see the damage that Morteus is doing as well. 4 items deep on this Caitlyn. And keep your eyes on Dudu here, because he's doing so much work. Not the majority of this fight, he's able to get off of that equalizer, starts trying to turn and burn and do some damage. Obviously, Drake Hero loses his life early on, and this is when they start heading towards the Baron. But Dudu, this whole time, Arcane shifts, knows that flash is coming, takes Frosty out, looks for Steps as well, and then instead of trying to go out of that chain and play it slowly, commits into 4 people, causes himself to go down. This is all before Zest is even all outed, so the breakup of that play just not quite on the pace that Dudu was looking for.
Yeah, he manages to put an impressive amount of burst down, basically 100-0 in Kaze, just with 4 or 5 spells chained together, but doesn't have enough in the tank to get rid of Steps, goes down to the Pantheon, and ultimately Red do walk away happy with the Baron buff. Now, they're currently putting a push together on the bot side. Zinz holding it down mid lane. Los Grandes trying to pick through their own jungle to see if there's an angle to catch somebody rotating in an unsafe manner. But Morteus has already reached the turret, and he's taking multiple plates per auto attack, so they really need to get the answer in now. Zest is trying to get into range. Morteus has to flash. The Nami wave does not connect. Zinz is still pushing mid lane. The flash will get the job done, though. There's the kill onto Caitlyn they needed. Steps is into the backline, but they don't have the Caitlyn. Frosty ultimate completely whiffs. Pantheon's pushed into the resurrection. Zinz is on the flank and has managed to find one kill. Goes golden to survive, and Los Grandes are pushed back to the turret.
Yeah, that's the power of a wallet diff right there, because that fight was disgustingly bad from Red, and they still come away with a 1-for-1. GA popped from Steps. It is going to stop their Baron push, which I think is the job that Los Grandes were looking to achieve. They just can't overextend here.
Yes, has been caught by the rotation, commits the all-out straight away. Feisty's there to support him, but Kazi and Frosty doing what they can. Pantheon dropping very low. Now Feisty's on the front line. Zinz has TP'd back in, but he's got no Zhonya's this time. The bubble lands, and Feisty picks up the kill. Red pushed too hard, and this time Los Grandes pushed them back a lot more decisively.
Yeah, they're just trying to make something happen with this Baron, and instead they reach for a Cassante once again, just not recognizing what their strengths and what their capabilities are. You can't take out a Cassante who's still got ulti, still got 2k HP, and you don't have your AD carry there. Like, it's just fundamentally not going to work for you. And they find that out ultimately the hard way. They do still have, though, Trajan, a 9k gold lead. So with all this being said, does it impact how the game is going to play out? Most likely not. The big thing that we need to look at is that Drake spawning in 7 seconds time. Zinz not going to be alive for it, and if Soul Point can be picked up by Los and they can deny it from Red, that's going to be the big thing that buys 5 more minutes, that gives them the time to maybe make it work.
Los Grandes try not to waste a second here, muscling their way into the bot side river. They'll start up the objective. Yeah. Red are watching, but Steps has gone away into that top side of the jungle. Red, I think, are going to concede this one. They're happy not to walk into an imbalanced fight. They know this isn't Soul, but it is 3 Hextech Drakes now stacked up for Los Grandes. If they can hold out, they haven't lost any inhibs yet. They can hold out till that potential Hextech Soul fight with 4 Hextech Souls stacked. Dudu is going to be crazy. Drake Cure as well. The attack speed, the ability haste, stacking up beautifully on some of these picks.
Yeah, and I mean, for Feisty as well, he's gone through that Orianna weak stage, right? You went for Proto Belt, not a high damage item necessarily. You went for the Banshees. Now you've come away from that with your Rabadon's Death Cap completed. So you've had the safety, now you've got the damage to build back up. It's very possible that you can one-shot Morteus if he gets caught by a shockwave, right? Like, this Orianna as well needs to be respected in this late stage. And if they can't get access to Feisty, can't get access to Duda, which, I mean, it's all on Kaze and Steps to be able to do that. This game is going to be quite tricky for Red to close.
I think Morteus likely working on a GA, to be honest, in that last BF sword in his inventory. He's already got the Bloodthirster, building up that shield that he can have going into a play. And as you say, if he is allowed to auto-attack at all, it's going to be curtains for Los Grandes. This guy just does so much damage, and we are still allergic to armor for everybody who isn't Zest for Los Grandes. So if he's able to do anything, it's probably going to be curtains. But if they can get him done before he gets the GA completed in the next, I don't know, minute or 90 seconds or so, there's definitely a chance for them to pop him. And with the way Red have been playing, pretty much still trying to force the advantage, Zinz drops an aggressive equalizer onto Zest. In comes the rotation from Steps, but Drake Hero is going to get there too. Lovely all-out usage by the Cassante, gets him into range, but Frosty's arrived with a double Pop Blossom, and there's Morteus. No cooldowns left to deal with this Caitlyn. And the Xin Chao evaporated at 50% HP. My goodness gracious, this Caitlyn is cooking.
That was disgusting. This is why Caitlyn is feared in the late game. Headshot takes Drake Hero from 1400 straight out to 0. Now Red can push. Now they can probably look to end the game, Trajan. 40-second death timers on the entire top side of Los Grandes. And Ezreal to try and defend? I don't know what you think you're doing to those minions, buddy, but it's not going to be a lot.
Just lost the flash as well, trying for a desperate attempt onto Kaze's LeBlanc to try and take the threats off the board, but the damage is just immense. Ackerman knocked out without too much trouble, does get a kill onto Steps because of the double turrets, but Zinz is now TP'd in, and Dudu, what can my man do? There's just too much to deal with. Morteus stepping up. My guy has an actual gun in this game. Nobody can stop him. And Red Canids will push through for the win. 39 minutes on the clock, certainly not the game length I may have expected from the first few minutes. Credit to Los Grandes for keeping themselves in this fight for a hot minute, but ultimately Red were conclusively the winners.
And like that game really sums up these two teams, I feel like, so far this split, where Red haven't looked unfathomable, but they've looked good enough to beat the rest of the teams who just have got a few too many issues. Los Grandes right there. We talked about the fact that in the pre-show, we're expecting them to be a team that have got really good individual talent, but not yet working together as a five-man unit in this split. That was the reason they lost that game, was because they decided to go all in for a fight on the bot side where they just did not have the opportunity. They didn't have the people there to go for it, and Red just find it so easily.
Yeah, right. We saw, Lost put together a good dragon fight early on. We saw Dudu and Ackerman, going lights out in the 2v2 once again as usual. Zest was just doing what Kasante does into Rumble, just farming for Kanik, and then looked like he was ready to go. And yeah, ultimately Red, the way they were able to commit to some of these plays, Steps, like they're clearly coming so clearly with Steps' ultimate cooldown to go, okay, when can we just force somebody into a play? We'll get Pantheon down on their head straight away. And it seemed like Los Grandes were never quite ready for that the second player to arrive, right? Never quite aware of where the Pantheon could be and when. And the fights were so often just turned against them.
Yeah, I mean, that Pantheon ulti had so many massive implications through the early stages of the game. Literally hit, not a single miss through the early stages of that match. And it was pretty big, the difference that these two junglers were able to put out. Really felt like we had a complete throwback for Drake Hero, one of the junglers who in last split had been in really one of the top dogs, but previously in his time in CBLOL wasn't quite able to find his footing. And this game round, that was the exact case.
Yeah, definitely struggled against Steps. As we said, the funnel Steps gold strategy continues to pay off when it gives him that confidence to just, I'm going to start a fight, I'll into it, I don't care. Whatever it is, just start fighting them. I'm going to be there. I'm already 3-0. What can they do? And the answer is nothing. The answer is absolutely nothing, apparently. So credit to Steps and Red for putting another win on the board. But let's go to a quick break for now. We'll be back with game number 2 before you know it and see if Los Grandes can turn this series around. Welcome back, everybody. It's time for game number 2 of Los Grandes versus Red Canids. We took 39 minutes for Red to get that first win, though it never really fell in doubt. And the strategy for Red seems to still be holding strong, playing through that massively powerful mid-jungle duo. The bot lane is very resilient and can path through into that mid-game very easily. And we're playing Senna.
Whoa! Okay! This is what we like to see. Some spice to my life. Don't give me Yunara Lulu, Corki Nami every single game. Let's take Senna Nautilus. Why on earth not? And I think that for the Red Canids, this game goes long, Senna good when the game goes late. So we're building into this ever-scaling hyper-focus in the late stages of the game Senna. I know Hex Optics has been a little bit of the rage recently. I'd be interested to see what a Senna with Hex Optics looks like, just because she'll be autoing you from many screens away. And that, to me, sounds hilarious.
Yes, I'm sure Moteus would love to continue playing Caitlyn, I guess, and is just going to build Hex Optics Senna instead and one-shot people from the other side of the map with single autos. Now, for Los Grandes, we have a Nocturne locked in. We have a Nocturne Lulu, which we saw Loud use to quite powerful effect. You can still do some kind of Nocturnal into Wild Growth knock-up shenanigans there. There is no classic Orianna pairing, but we'll see what we can put together as potentially a feisty Galio in the offing. We've seen this guy pull that out more than once. And we'll see what they want to pair with this jungler. So for Red, we've got this Senna Nautilus, we've got a classic Jarvan jungle. So I'm expecting to see something with a little bit of lane kind of 1v1 dominance, a bit of skirmishy power from mid or top side just to give them a way to play through that stage of the game. Kaze was already LeBlanc once today, so I'm sure he can give us something for that.
And I mean, we saw these two same bans come out from Los in the last game. I'm not sure if Feisty is like mental blocked versus Akali and Silas. I am when I play mid lane, and I don't have the luxury of 5 bans, so very understandable that he gets to take those off the board. I really like your call for the Galio ban. I think that's a really good one to just take off the board. And I think that for the time being here, I'm looking at top lane picks. I mean, Sion at the minute, absolutely nuclear here. But with that Yorick ban, suggests maybe a Jace pick in the offing here for Zinz.
Yeah, normally I would expect Zest to be the architect of the Jace play, and I was wondering who was going to get the Ahri. Potentially, I might have expected it to go into Kaze's hands if Feisty hasn't now taken it. So he's got a way to follow up on the Nocturne engage. It's a little harder to combo it, but it is still comboable to some degree. So what do we got from Red now? We have an Ahri to play into. We have a Nocturne jungle behind her. And I still feel like they could do with something that can 2v2 decently well. I guess it is going to be the Jace that has been covered off by the Yorick.
We knew this was coming. My concern currently with Lissandra into Ahri, this is a good answer, I like this, is that if Los locks Sion doesn't die. And that's my big problem here, is that just one big tank on the top side won't fall ever. So I'm curious to see what Los think about that.
I think they're picking up what you're putting down there, Roodood, perhaps.
Let's see.
I don't know if we've seen much Zesty Sion. He mainly is more of the bruisers and carries, but it's literally Sion. You know, how hard can it be?
Okay, now Red are now slightly juxtaposed with their own composition right now, because the idea is that they kind of need to win early before Zest gets to have those big tank items, or they need to go into the hyperbolic late game where Senna can actually kill tanks. Now, it's possible, but it's like 7.5 items deep and many souls deep, which getting there, hey, last game's any indication, possible, but not something you're relying on.
Yeah, Riot have generously allowed Morteus the ability to get 6 items deep now on bot laners, but they have not yet given them the opportunity to buy 7. So, you know, maybe next year they'll get a 7th item slot, but for now, you're going to have to make do with 6 and as many souls as you can get, and we'll see what Zest can do in this 1 versus 1. Not usually on the kind of, I'm not even going to call it a weak side matchup. I don't know if Jace is actually able to do anything much against Sion, if I'm honest.
Yeah. He's not. So we'll see. I mean, hey, maybe it is lethality Sion. That's a possibility here. It's Arcane Comet. If that's what we see when we load in, we know what we're in for. Okay, so That's the lookout for. If it's Arcane Comet Scion, it's lethality, baby.
Yes, we can live in hope. We'll see what Los Grandes has to go for us here. I am excited to see Lysandra back. Kaze has been a guy who is willing to go off-piste from the mid laners for quite a while. I think Lysandra has been bubbling under the surface for quite a while in terms of how well it does play into the Aries of this world. It does have plenty of damage to get to. If you're very ahead on it, as Kaze often is, you can burst backliners with it. Obviously, the teamfight utility is immense. The ice ghosts, spirits, ice clones, the White Walkers, we can say, copyright pending, are something that people are not used to playing around. They will often forget about them, and they have a huge amount of ability to fix a team fight or to get that over the line for you. So let's see what Kaze can do for us.
Sixth Sense Drake Hero here, looking for the play to try and steal out these Raptors. And, I mean, probably is going to be able to make it work. I don't know that mid-push is going to be contestable for Kaze. This Ahri does a very good job at sort of pushing the wave, as both mid laners have forgotten what side they selected in the early stages of this game.
Yeah, I don't know if Feisty is really just trying to put his body in front of where Drake Hero is, and it's like, well, if you want to come and rotate to this red buff, you got to go through me first. And it seems like Steps is just going to go and take his top side instead. So he is going to be slightly behind the curve, but is going to try and split the map top to bottom potentially here. So we'll see if the bot lane, obviously they don't have a Nocturne ult to worry about, but potentially you see the blue side is already pushed under tower, so it's not like Nocturne can come round from behind a bush and ambush them with early levels.
Yeah, so the way that this lane plays on the bot side is if you miss the first hook, you have to eat it for the next couple of levels, right? Like, and ultimately, Frosty missed, so that's not great. As Rose there quite rightly highlighting the likelihood of lethality Scion decreasing with the Grasp of the Undying.
Yes, certainly we would not imagine that is going to be the way this game is going to go. I'm sure Zest can potentially prove us wrong, as Morteus suffering a fair amount in this trade. They do get the hook down onto Akamon, and Morteus will get a couple of stacks off the back of it, but ultimately it does require actually the heal from Akamon. Morteus and Frosty do hold on to their summoners. Quite a rare practice in bot lane now.
You're thinking about that trade all wrong, Trajan, because what actually happened there was the Senna got two souls, and that's a positive thing.
So it's winning.
So it's winning, yeah, exactly. Yeah. The Yunara didn't get extra.
Not matter.
Yeah, Yunara got no
she didn't get any
towards. Yeah, exactly. Where's her extra range? She's not getting any.
Yeah, so... this is very bad play from Dudu. He has failed to stack at all, and we're now 3 minutes in. He's got no stacks. What
he
is that
has
guy
got
doing?
No stacks. This is a poor performance.
Oh, a bit of an illegal hook there from Frosty, but it lands onto Ackerman. Frosty trading, doesn't manage to land the hook, and Dudu, with that steroid on the Yunara, can step back for some heavy trades. Now the barrier comes out and traded from both sides.
Yeah, a little bit of creep block there, keeping Duda in range of Morteus, which is not the ideal as Frosty posturing forward. Didn't quite connect on that hook there, but barrier is now used down on the bot side. Frosty still has that summoner heal as Drake Hero continues this split map style, but with the bot lane being quite volatile, this might give him an opportunity at 6 to try and make something happen.
We saw Feisty coming close to threatening kills onto Kaze. Couldn't quite connect the charms he needed. The Steps has come straight down here after finishing top scuttle. The smites come through. Drake Hero, did he walk away with it? I'm not sure if he did.
There were no things over it, so nobody got gold. I don't know who got it. I know somebody did, but something went wrong on the observation side of things, which sometimes is going to happen. Either way, the split map has been forcefully denied now.
Yes.
I think that's largely looking at the bot side as well. You know, Frosty and Morteus actually looked like they were finding some decent trades.
Oh,
charm there.
Charm connects. Just clips the elbow of Kaze as it sails past. Not quite level 6 yet. And just trying to clear out those waves as fast as possible. He's going to have to hold the L and step back as Drake Hero has found Zinz crashing a wave. The speed gate and the flash will keep him safe for time being. But when Drake Hero has 6, he's going to be able to come back here with a lot more threat.
Yeah, and I love the saying I heard from one of the LPL casters, Cubby, said that Jace now, with no flash on that top side, becomes the free money bag. You go top, you collect your money when you go up to that top side.
Yeah.
If he keeps pushing the wave in like that, Drake Hero on level 6 should just be taking the Jace down pretty much every chance he gets.
Yeah, Zinz can farm up as much CS as possible to offset the fact that he will be dying every few minutes. So as long as you keep it net positive, that's fine. As we're flashing in bot lane. Dudu has to stand and fight, but the double root from Morteus sets up steps beautifully. And Dudu flashes in, but he just cannot get the last auto off. Hook onto Ackerman, sets up steps. The cooldown's going to be coming up. The Q comes through, the shield, the flash, the last auto, in fact. It's the burn from Frosty that gets it done as the mid laners are trading. Charm onto Kaze, ults being used, committed. Feisty has a Spirit Rush charge to play with. But he's looking for a chance to drop it. Kaze's going to put enough space between them.
Yeah, I guess he just had no spells left to go there. Spirit Rush dies down. Charm Flash. Ooh, he was looking for it. Knew that it was on the cards, and Kaze didn't manage to get hit by it. As now, with no Charm, with no Flash, steps... doesn't care, let's Feisty off. Okay, fair enough.
Bro, I had a mouthful of water when he flashed Charm there. I was not ready for it at all.
And where's the water now?
It's in my belly, thankfully, not all over my monitor, which it could have been. It very well could have been. But we are thankfully safe here. So ults have been used in that mid. They're trading very heavily. No kills have been found yet, and Feisty continues to be able to handle Kaze quite well. As now, with these ults available, perhaps the junglers will put a bit more attention towards that mid lane, as neither of them have flash either. Drake Hero with the bot scuttle, and is now starting up the Drake. Or fleeing from them. Nope, he's starting up the Drake.
Looks like he's taking it here. As we get a replay of what happened down on this bot side now, Morteus and Frosty had struggled a little bit through this bot side, and the Swifty boots on the center actually have a lot of work here. It means that she's able to sort of space out, forces Duda's flash, and an extra heal comes through just in time to actually keep her alive. And then down on the spot side, really well executed. Frosty tanks the turret for long enough to allow steps to get in and get out unscathed, as it was Kaze using that level 6 timer to try to go all in.
Yeah, he aggressively uses the alright. Feisty has only just now burnt the Spirit Rush and then tries to fire it back. Does get rooted up there. These charms are really kind of essential to land. They're giving him these purchase in the plays, but Kaze was the one calling the shots right there, and knowing that when he goes in, he gets that minion off the Ring of Frost. We'll get him level 6, but again into another charm. Steps this time is around the corner. This is not the honorable 1v1, and Red's jungle will take the credit.
All right, folks at home, there is a rule when you are playing against these types of mages in the mid lane, these CC-oriented mages, your Malzahars, your Lissandras, maybe even your Anivias as well. The point-and-click Annie, the point-and-click go-to key button, right? Build Merc Treads. Why on earth have we got Lucidity boots? Oh, free money gank. Hold on.
Yeah, the money bag has been cashed in. Right now, Drake Hero is going to pick it up. Zet's going to happily just receive the assist. So, yep, there's the first instance.
Zinz, no flash. I'll go up and cash in on my 300 gold. Thank you very much. Nicely played. I mean, there's not a lot to it. You're playing Nocturne and Scion. You can gap close a Jace.
Yes, a flashless Chase, no less. That's not going to be... My bro is not getting away from that one. First deposit received by Drake Hero from that bank account.
Small problem I have with the CBLOL overlay right now is I can't see how many stacks Senna has, which is annoying, to say the least, because that's a pretty fundamental piece of her play pattern here, to see how well she's doing in that department.
Does he have 26? Is that tiny number bottom left of her face? Is that...
Oh, true! Number? Okay, yeah, it is well played.
Before we besmirch the honorable observers.
No, good call, well played. I apologize and I take back everything that I said. Thank you very much, Rose. Lovely stuff.
There we go.
Yeah, we've reached the first breakpoint then. So it's every 20 for Senna. She gets a tiny bit of range and is able to do a little bit more.
Okay, so we see continually Kaze using the E to reposition and dodge and dive, and these trades coming thick and fast for these mid laners, but so far they're still relatively healthy. Steps is stepping into a Grubs fight here, and we see a replay of, this pretty much... That's just the kind of setup that you dream of as a jungler when they have two separate buttons that can hold them in place for you.
Yeah, and then, same on the top side. Hey, I've also got two buttons that can hold them in place for you. Yeah, I missed both of them, but hey, we'll take the kill.
Yeah, absolutely. As the Grub's being wrapped up by Steps right now, going to have those pushes hurting even more as all three concluded. 1.5k is the lead for Red, so they've gotten more swiftly to a more heavily controlled position. It feels like they are still having to fight for that purchase, but the bot lane particularly is that main difference, right? 800 gold is the lead for Morteus. We're not seeing the Senna get shoved around at this early weakened stage. Dudu and Ackerman, the late game's got to be sick, but right now we are not really feeling the impact.
I do want to remind everybody here of the ticking time bomb that is that top lane. How are Red planning on killing Scion? I am still yet to know. Now, there is a very real world where with the champions that they've got, Jarvan and Lissandra, that they can sort of ignore the Scion and come back to him at the end.
Yeah.
Seeing that work is going to be a different thing here, as Kaze, again, posturing, getting hit by Qs. We'll see. Is this another one? Oh, Glacial Path,
Yeah, Feisty knows.
Just to have some fun with him.
Yeah, Feisty not going to be caught sleeping on this one again. Instantly pops the Spirit Rush. E for R, pretty nice ability trade for Red. Not going to be sniffing at that one. And I'm waiting to see now what the next Drake hero paranoia is going to be. He's currently on top side. The last one was top lane for a free cash-in. There is a potential to go for the same. Hook lands onto Ackerman once again, but Frosty just going to get healed up and try to step away, as maybe we're just looking mid lane. The CC has come through once again. Feisty with no ultimate. He's got nowhere to go.
Yeah, Kaze didn't even ulti that time either, so even when ulti's back up and available, it's go time.
Oh, the hook somehow connects once again. Frosty just about hitting the spells he needs to hit, but Dudu is still churning through his HP bar. A root from Morteus from the Senna will keep him locked down. No mana left on this champion, but Steps is running through around here. Drake here as well. This could be the paranoia. Morteus has the flash. He's going to have to drop it properly. In go the jungler. Steps goes down. Morteus goes down. Only the supports are left, but it's a TP in from Feisty. Kazi's walking his way down the slow way. Doesn't have the teleport available, and Steps has been caught on the wrong side of town. Frosty sidesteps the charm, but surely will get caught eventually.
Frosty!
Hooks the Feisty under the turret. He's barely walking away. The Ari survives for now as Drake Hero tries to take down Steps,
surely
but
they're
cannot
pinging.
get it done.
There's an Ari.
Steps it around.
Go get the Ari.
Bounce into the jungle. Oh, Senna ultimate. Morteus with the target bead drawn on her back.
And Kaze there getting hyped on the player cams as well. That was crazy, that fight down on the bot side. Lots of different things going off. It's Red that seemingly come out on top in the back half of it. And it's once again Steps really popping off on this Jarvan. Barely able to limp out of the 2v2 over with Drake Hero and Ackerman, and Steps versus Kaze. He's even going to try and take the Dragon off the back of this as well. And now Red, with this lead that they needed to get that is mandated by their composition, feeling pretty good about it, right? They're 3k gold to the good. They just had a really solid fight, and now they've got a Dragon started stacking as well.
Yeah, Red have managed to fist fight their way out of this early game, feeling very, very comfortable at this point. Frosty fishing for another hook perhaps onto Ackerman. This time cannot connect it. And so many times in these plays, these Frosty hooks have been pivotal to be keeping Morteus safe and getting around it, but we're just all piling into the bot lane at this point.
Yeah, I mean, Ackerman there ulting himself and not his AD carry. I think that can go a very different way. Like, we have Wild Growth, Flash, and Barrier still ready for the low spot lane. So definitely a miscommunication, misplay going on there. As when the fear comes through, it's onto Kaze, not onto Steps, so that Jarvan autos are more than easily able to come on through. Dawning Shadow from downtown does just enough, barely catches Feisty there. And yeah, you can see some good vibes on the Red side.
Yeah, Frosty and Kaze laughing their way through that play. Now, the last time I did see Frosty laughing at a game, they threw a 12.5k gold lead against Loud. So let's, you know, that you were even there for that one. That was us on that cast as well. So let's keep an eye on it. Let's keep an eye on Red for the time being. They certainly have managed to fight their way out of these situations. They're making good plays, but Lost are answering them, and it is quite fine margins that Red are getting away with.
Yeah, the good thing is that Frosty's not on Pyke this time round, and I mean, if any champion was going to be Pyke Light, it's probably Blitzcrank, and then if it's Pyke Light, it's Nautilus.
It's Nautilus.
So
yeah.
We're not too far removed, and we'll see whether or not that we end up with something of that same vein this time out here. And of course, if that does happen, it then means that Los Grandes are going to MSI, because, you know, that's the path that Lad took as well last split.
Certainly true. Certainly true. Now, especially because there's only the one spot for MSI, but we'll have double for World, so there'll be even more room for them as Frosty cannot quite connect the hook this time onto Dudu. The plate's starting to get slipped off, and Zintz has been rotated down here. We've got him put Morteus into that mid lane to keep the farming going. So we've at least gotten Zintz out of this Sion lane, and he's basically dead even on gold, right? So he has gone down once, but he's not come out with a lead. He's also not come down very, very far behind. And he's got a first item Serpent's Fang knockdown as well. So these shields are going to be thinned out as the fights start.
As far as when to get a Serpent's Fang goes, I'm kind of okay with it being first. Like, it works versus the Sion, and every item after this, you're just going to get stronger and stronger. Like, you're going to feel good about your item purchases after this one. Steps?
Yeah, Steps is diving here. The Kaze ult to set up, but the shield comes through clutch. The Furnace from Zest keeps him alive. They don't have quite enough, and Feisty now with a manaless Kaze. Maybe, I think Kaze would have gone for it, you know what I mean? But I don't know if Feisty's feeling it.
So
he is going to step away there.
Misexecution there from Steps, actually. Doesn't get the knock-up, which means that Zest has the time to channel Soul Furnace, and he's able to live there. That one difference in an auto-attack would have been the deal-breaker there and taken Zest out underneath the turret. As it was, Steps with a rare misplay here, and now on the bot side.
Well, we're doing the classic, you know? We're just going to ult. And ult Zints again, and they even did the Nocturne Lulu combination that we saw, Sion flying in for good measure.
Yeah.
But that is going to be more or less the same as last time.
Cashing on my free money. Thank you, Nocturne. Or I guess in this case, thank you for the Jace. Even had flash that time, just knows that there's no way out, really.
Like,
so
nah. Yeah.
I've had my
What's
time.
the freaking point?
Yeah, I mean, my team are killing topside. I'm getting turrets in mid lane. Rift Herald's falling. Turret plates topside. Like, sure. You kill me. At what cost?
He is cortisol low in that play. You know, he's like, I'm not freaking out, panic flashing here. Like, if you're gonna go all in for it, like, whatever, dude, that's fine.
Yeah.
So let's see what he can do. As once again matched up against Zest, as we have Kaze and Feisty in the top side, Drake Hero on the top side himself, but waiting for the Paranoia to come through again. And I'm wondering what the assignments are going to be here for Red. So they've got, once again, they've funneled Steps. The classic Red move, they've funneled their Jarvan. Now, it's not quite, I think, as impactful to funnel a Jarvan as it is to funnel even a Pantheon or obviously like an Aatrox, something like this. So I want to see Steps convert on this gold very, very effectively. And we need to see Mortea start to get some more. We need to see Kaze get some more. And that's kind of what I'm looking for here. So we're now done with funneling Steps, I guess is my point. Like, no more kills for Jarvan, please.
Jarvan, I mean, the whole sort of terminology for this is bridge jungler, right? Jarvan is is a really good bridge jungler in that he carries you from the start of the game through to the mid to the late game, and he's the bridge that you cross to get you to that late game Exodia, where you have the Senna to be able to pop off. We've built the bridge, we've walked across it. It's now a case of getting to the end destination and getting our gold onto Morteus, and we've got that dragon spawning in not too long a time at all. As mid lane, they're looking for Morteus.
Has to Ian flash away. Zest gets that summoner stripped off. They will get rooted down of the backside as well. For Kaze with a Ring of Frost. Commits the ultimate, in fact, as well. And Sion flashes to safety. Steps is in. Locks down the targets that he can. But Lost managed to get out. They reposition. Now Duty's free firing. 2 kills picked up. Los Grandes weathered the engage. Zints has found himself isolated on the other side, though Duty's been caught out. Kaze and Morteus threatening him as the Jace will fall on the south frontier of this play. But that's 3 quick kills for Los.
Okay, we've had 2 hilarious not farts. Oh my word. We've had 2 hilarious parts of both of these games. And if you want a giggle, when the replay comes up, watch Zints, because he has an absolute howler in this fight. It is not pretty. But a really good fight by Los Grandes once again here. Again, it's around these sort of 15, 20-minute marker fights that Los Grandes seemingly find their way in. And again, overcommitting from Red, once again, looking for a Sion, not the champion that you can look for. But look on this bot side, okay? They're not going to show it. They're not going to give it to me. Rift Herald gets spawned. Zints goes into it, crashes it into a wall, does nothing, walks away. Excellent Jace performance. Yes!
Oh, dear me. That is a nightmare. You want that clip to mysteriously disappear. You know, you want the VOD to mysteriously be deleted.
We will
for this
remember.
series, I think, if you're Zints. Yes, it will always be on the CBLOL English channel, Zints. You will never escape it, I'm afraid. And he's just like Serpent's Fang and Cull and Tear in hand, heralds into the wall, runs away,
0-3
dies.
Jace. Like, this is...
Ay.
Either this is cortisol really low with Maroon 5 blasting in the background, or this is extreme pain right now for Zints, and he is despising every second of this game and just praying that the rest of the team can carry him.
Yes, we have seen there the gold has completely swayed over to Los Grandes. The first time they've actually had an honest-to-goodness gold lead in this series today. Still fairly even to play through, and Red obviously still have their playmaking tools, but Los Grandes now at least have the gold to play with, and we saw Dudu, 2 items done, Fiend Thunderbolts in inventory, and if he is not caught out, if he is not Kaze ultimated, if he is not trapped in the Cataclysm, he can do a whole lot of work, because now we're looking for some revenge. Zest is going to be able to tighten them up for quite a while. We don't have a Black Cleaver or anything like this, but we do have the trusty Serpent's Fang, and they're getting there, you know? They're going to get him eventually.
There we go.
Zints hopefully should be able to escape,
dear.
but here's the counter punch from Los Grandes in the mid lane. Morteus with nobody to peel
heal
for him,
barrier.
but he's got the shields, he's got the heals, forces the trade. Drake Hero walks away with a 1-for-1, and the rest of Los Grandes back away.
Low-key, the fact that Drake Hero can kill Senna through heal, barrier, or not heal, through the barrier, through her own heal, through ulti, is pretty messed up.
Unlock it.
I'm going to be honest. That's pretty wild. Well played to Drake Hero for doing it. I mean, I guess that's what you get for being a 4-on-1 jungler as well. So we'll see if Steps can replicate that on to Duda in the next one. But this Senna, I mean, if they can get focused and can get taken down, then good work. But has slowly been quite easily accruing items, working towards that third item nice and quickly here. And I like this build path as well for Morteus. It's very cheap. Sort of 2,800 gold a piece for these first 2 items, and then working towards your Last Whisper item on 3, while still getting a real benefit of those stats and some good items in your back pocket.
Yeah, it's the kind of build where once we get to 6 items, if we're like 50 minutes deep in this game, he can end up selling the static shift for something flashier if he gets to that point, right? But he ultimately is going to accelerate to a couple item spikes very nicely here. We are going to get some, we're getting some armor shred on board. We do have the Black Cleaver done for Steps as well, so Zest is going to have to consider it to some degree. But ultimately, if it comes to a 5v5 team fight, I don't think they have time yet still to really work through that HP bar.
No, not just yet. And tensions turned up toward this top side. Baron spawned about a minute ago. And that's really been the focus for the last minute or so, as Steps be a little bit caught out here. 5 members of Los bearing down on this one crab. It's giving Zints a little bit of time here. Maybe we change the playlist. Nope, never mind.
He is.
Immediate ulti down to the bot side.
Yeah, no
turret
for
plates
today. No plates for you. He has at least completed his mirror mana. He's finished the cull, so we're going somewhere. I guess what is the build for Jace at this point for Zints? We've got the utility Serpent's Fang. We have the press my buttons a lot mirror mana, but what's the vision here?
There's already a cleaver for Steps. I guess at this point you're just going full lethality, and you're trying to poke that bot side, right? Let's see. Can 5 people kill Zest under a turret? All right.
All right. Let's see what we can do here. Zints has got some backup this time. They are going to get the turret first. They are kind of working on both at the same time, and we see the answer in picture. We see the turret being answered by topside, and Zest has in fact died. So that's fair enough. We have lost control of top and mid lane, and I don't know if we needed all of this.
Zints is, much happier now. Having a lovely old time. It's cathartic almost on this, Jace.
Why did we send the whole team down there?
Look, that was a mental break that Zints needed, okay? Either Zints was going to explode or Red make that play, all right? They needed that.
He needs to know that his team is behind him. You know, his team is backing him, and, they're here for you, bro. It's not you against Zest. It's everyone against Zest, okay? And they did get him another assist. He's now got a Last Whisper coming in, so it looks like he's going to lock in what I assume is the LDR. So we're not even necessarily full lethalitying for the time being, but it's
with
certainly not going to be crit for the rest of it, so...
I hope not. Hold on, Zest just TP'd into a hook. Oh!
Okay, they managed to get onto the actual important target. They got the lockdown on Dudu. That's a much better target for the Lissandra ultimate to come down on. Zest has been locked up again, but gets a double knockup. Feist in with the charm. Zints dropping a little low. Zest on the front line. Has to flash away. Kaze, though, can find the targets. Morteus is popping off with these long-range auto attacks. The Hex Optics is live and firing, and Red got a much better team fight there.
And they did exactly what I said. Ignore the Scion. Kaze immediately beelines it into the backline, takes out Dudu, and Los Grandes, after a really solid fight not 4 minutes ago, find themselves at the next dragon crumbling.
Yeah, they scooch around Zest and go straight for Dudu, and they lay an absolutely unholy amount of CC chain onto him. He almost gets free of it at the end, but just cannot survive it all.
Yeah, so hop over the wall. I mean, I have to question whether or not Ackerman has Mikhail's or whether or not he did not use it. That feels like the surefire way to stop this play from going so poorly. Dawning Shadow connects onto 3 people, giving all 5 shields as well. This flash forward from Morteus, I mean, I didn't see the angle for that, and he's just absolutely found it. Very, very solid heads-up play. That's that aggression that you want to see from Marksman to turn this game from being good to being great.
Yeah, and Morteus, I think there is a perception that Morteus is a very safe pair of hands to put Red's bot lane in, and in many ways that is true, but this is still a guy who can find the angle to flash forward, right? We saw that on his time in VKS on champions like Varus, where he would find angles to create plays of his own or to make sure that he was getting the absolute maximum value out of his picks. So great to see that Morteus is still empowered and confident enough to make those plays when needed. He's now accelerating towards 4 items. The Infinity Edge is going to come down the pike pretty shortly, and he's absolutely ready to go. Looks like stacks-wise, he's on 72 right now. I'll be honest, I don't know what the actual correct breakpoints are for stacks that you want to see. I know that 100 is a good number to have, and he's getting there.
I mean, it's just every 20, I think, you get a little incremental increase. So it's not, again, like, every increase is always good, and there's no thresholds.
People used to say... like 100 stacks every 10 minutes for Nasus kind of thing is like your target kind of income for stacks. So maybe it's more than that now, to be honest, but I don't know if Senna has an equivalent. It seems to be just like people just check back on Senna stacks 25 minutes into a game and go, wow, that's a lot, and then...
regardless of what it is. 20 stacks at 25 minutes, oh my god!
Wow. He's got a small range increase.
That's incredible. But the thing that the Senna... hold on. Are we going for Feisty?
Well, it's actually... Ooh.
All right.
Here we go. He's gonna once again trade just an E and a proto belt for an ult this time, so a little bit more invested, but still.
And still not got those Merc treads. I mean, I honestly would make a very big argument for having swapped to Merc treads a lot earlier, but has decided that he's going to be playing life on the edge this game. If he gets hit by Lissandra, he dies. If he doesn't, he will do a lot of damage. So that's the trade-off here that we are taking, as Red have started this Baron. It's not a fast one with a Senna, but with the Jace pairing up here, it looks like they're going to get this without any contest.
Scion's ulting up the lane, but he is not going to arrive in time, and all of Red have coalesced. They're just going to skate out under the mist crafted by Senna. They're just going to rotate this straight into a top lane, push Kaze looking for a risky rotation. Feisty, no ultimate. You're going to go slap bang into Kaze. Where are your mercs, brother man? He's already hit the grey screen, and Red are going to pick up another kill.
And that was just a little too easy, I feel like. If you don't see all 5 members in the lane, you kind of have to be face-checking that, or you kind of have to be checking that with spells. Alas, that did not happen. And still a large quantity of ultis available with the Cataclysm, with the Depth Charge. They can threaten on the bot side, or on this top side.
It's the principle of the thing, Rose, okay? Look, maybe not, but maybe going the safe way through the jungle could have also saved him, but there you go. And is it that... I mean, we'll talk about this in a second, as Red are trying to end the game right now. We're Baron pushing through top side. Zest is going to be able to clear it out, so Red will have to... They'll throw the thumbs up, and they will retreat for the time being. 6,000 is the lead. There's no soul for them to play for just yet, but with 2 more minutes left on the Baron, they can reset, spend their gold, get back out on the map, and probably look to crack another inhib.
Yeah, and I think that should be the goal here. Let's look at mid lane and then make our life really easy just playing through the bot side of the map when those drakes start spawning. You wanted to talk about something. You were going to say something, and then we thought they were ending the game.
When you upgrade tier 3 boots as mid laner, can you sell them still? Are you even allowed to change?
Hey man, I've not bought boots in mid lane this season. I'm going to be honest.
I think once it upgrades, you're locked. So
really?
You have to. I think so. Right, well, at the very least, I don't think you get another set of tier 3s if you swap your boots. So
low-key,
he's walked into the bad choice.
Yeah, skill issue. Do better. Do better in the future.
Yeah, Riot didn't make you pick those boots, bro. Like they don't have to give you a free set just because you made the wrong choice.
Exactly. And you can see here Red doing a really good job. They're spreading the play out with this Baron. We've got 1 in the mid lane who can wave clear nice and easily. We've got 4 down on bot side. Our 2 pokers as well. These Senna Qs at this stage are really going to hurt as they're going it all in on the bot side.
Zest, the Red Sea parts in front of him. They will peel back into the jungle. Zest cannot find anything. He has to fish for it, but look in mid lane. There's a Baron empowered midwave going, escorted in. A flash away from Kaze, gets away from the paranoia. And Lost still looking for a chance. They will juke out of the way of Feisty, who's really reaching for this. Flash committed by the Lissandra with a Glacial Path, followed by a flash from Drake Hero. And he's wasting about 8 years of their lives. Steps has arrived. And oh my word, Los Grandes still couldn't get it done. Red Kaze leading them on a merry chase.
You made the claim that Kaze might be the best player in the CBLOL, and that is exactly why. Dodged everything that Los threw at him, and now they're just going to end the game.
Yeah, they're going to walk behind the Nexus Towers to meet Loss on the way back to the fountain. The knock-up lands. Zinz gets the Shock Blast onto bot side. Duty's still alive, but he has an absolutely mountainous task to achieve. He'll find one, but puts himself in harm's way to achieve it as Morteus is knocking down his support on the fountain. Red Canids sweep aside Los Grandes without too much trouble at all.
And Zinz can breathe a sigh of relief after that game. You know, he got down to 0-3-0 and then ended the game 2-3-4. So after his 3 early deaths, he was 2-0-4, had a wonderful time of things. And, you know, the rest of the team were able to do exactly what he needed them to do. A really good performance from Steps once again on this Jarvan, going crazy. Kaze on the Lissandra didn't really have any highlight moments until the very end there, but it was a very, very clean game instead of the first game where we had a lot of ebbs and flows. This game, there was just the one throw that we sort of tried.
Yeah, I mean, for Kaze that we're still seeing him, he'll just dip into like a niche champion or a less played option here to find a lane advantage, to counteract any potential weakness that the Fearless system can push some of our players into, but you just can't push Kaze off a good champ. You can't find something that he can't play. He always has an answer, and he knows how to play it, right? I think Kaze has developed from a Z mid laner, you know, kind of archetypically, a Z player who will pop the hell off, but sometimes you can shut him out and the pool, the champions he picks are a little less applicable in some scenarios, to this incredibly mature somehow has the right pick for every scenario. If it's Victor, if it's Lissandra, if it's LeBlanc, if it's Silas, if it's Zed, whatever it is, he's got the answer. He knows how to play it. He knows how to play safely. He knows when to go aggressive. He's just the whole package, man. It's taken him about a split to get there under the tutelage of Talkers, but this guy is the whole package.
And he's doing so well, just making sure that really everything that gets thrown at him, or either by his team in terms of can you play this, or by the enemies in terms of can you dodge this, he's just got the answer and continues to prove himself in the CBLOL. And again, for Red, they continue to prove themselves. Now 6-0, a hard lock for first come the end of the split now. So there was a world where they lose these next 2 series and then find themselves in a tiebreaker or in like a tied situation for another team at 5-2. Not the case anymore. They are first, and they've done it quite handily here in this series.
Yes, never really in doubt for them. And for Los Grandes, they dropped to 3-3. Now this was against Red again. It's the hardest matchup. It's against the best team in the league right now, and we still see the strengths that they have at their core. Dudu and Ackerman's 2v2 is great. Zest is very reliable in lane. Feisty, I didn't think had his best day today, but generally speaking, he is still a reliable influence. If you can get him out onto the map, he's still very, very good at rotating to where he needs to be. But again, we're not really moving forward right now. We're still struggling to see, I think, what the next step of this project is, or if it is just going to be 5th place, right? If that's going to be the end of the road at this point.
And that's an unfortunate possibility here for Los, that they're gonna have to try and find a way to answer. I think we got to see a good couple of pieces. Like there were some couple fights back, like their 5v5s. Actually, they had a couple of good looks into those, which is maybe one of the things that we've been seeing lack from them in previous weeks. But yeah, not able to push it over the line today, and we'll hope that can change for the future.
Yep. So for Lost, back to the drawing board. Red now locked at the top of the table. Happy for them. Quick break for now. We've got our second series coming up after the break. It is Pain versus Fluxu, I think, which could be just horrendous, or it could be really exciting, and that's just the CBLOL guarantee. With the way these teams are going, we could have an absolute slapper coming up after that break. So we'll see you back here in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. We've got a whole other series of CBLOL coming at you in a bit. Welcome back, everybody, to the CBLOL English. Now, we interrupt your regular broadcasting to bring you an emergency weather bulletin from Lunar Day in chat, okay? Now, this is very important that you guys know what the weather in Canada is in order to inform your viewing experience of the CBLOL. But it turns out there has been extensive flooding in Canada, okay? Apparently, RMC's tiers from Pain's elimination have raised the water table so high that they are now evacuating multiple cities. It is tragic up there. It's you know, our hearts go out to RMC, I guess, and to the rest of Canada. But we really need to give him something. Pain need to give him something. Otherwise, the situation is going to become out of control up there.
Yeah, they do. We need to see something to his benefit more than anything else. And we need him to stop crying for the sake of all of Canadians. All of the Canadians that we have. You got to see there the standings. Pain they're struggling. For lack of a better term, they're 0-5. They've not done great. And I think previously we would have thought that a series up against Fluxu might have been their way to do something good. Fluxu, though, they're turning a course almost.
They are. They have managed to put together either 2 or 3 wins on the bounce right now. They're currently 3-2. They are in the thick of that second place morass sitting behind Red right now, and with teams like Furia really struggling to maintain consistency, VKS are still super. They're very much an in progress team. They've certainly got somewhere to go, but they're not there yet. Los Grandes are continuing to struggle and have stalled out their progress. Loud are, I don't even know what Loud are doing. They're swapping supports and they're putting up some very confusing bot lane performances. So Fluxu are capitalizing pretty effectively on this, and they have started just taking wins from anyone they're across the rift from right now.
Yeah, I mean, a win here secures them at least 4th. Depending on how the games the rest of the weekend play out, they could end up 3rd, right? Depending on where the rest of the teams that are playing tomorrow. So Loud versus Furia, Lev versus VKS. They may be a little bit decided, but even still, an opportunity here to claim not a 4-way tie of 2nd would be good.
Yeah, for sure. And they have the head-to-head over Furia. They're yet to play Los. So that they don't have it over VKS. So if they can leapfrog VKS in raw score, they will be fine. If they tie with Furia, they'll be fine. And if they can win that series versus Los Grandes, which is their last series of this split on Sunday next week, they'll be in a very, very good position to potentially even steal 2nd, which would be insane for this Fluxu. For this Fluxu org, for this Fluxu roster, to basically just swap the mid laner and bring in Cody, and then Momochi in support as well, which has been a lot more impactful, I think, than many people thought it was going to be, to go from the bottom to the top in one split.
Yeah, and that would be crazy, but it's equally why we have playoffs as an answer to the other side of the coin, because this is exactly what Los Grandes did last split, where they ended the season first. Wow, they're the best team in the league. Oh, wait, they immediately bombed out of playoffs. I do think that a 2nd place finish in a best of 3, obviously, there's more games being played, lends itself to you being slightly better overall, so you can take from that whatever you'd please. But I still think that in a best of series, when we come to the playoffs, if Fluxu can deliver there, that's when I'll be really sold. A series win versus Pain Gaming, however, is not going to convince me that you're a top 2 team.
No, honestly, this would kind of be the expectation at this point. Now, Pain is an interesting one. They are 2-10 in game score. They're 0-5. They have not been able to put a single series win on the board, but since the reintroduction of Carioca into the first main lineup, they have started looking like a real team again to some degree. There's still a lot of work to be done, but they're looking like they're able to build advantages, and they're losing tough games in the later stage rather than failing to log on to the game at all. So there's certainly something building there. The Fluxu top side has consistently been the weakest area, even though they are starting to build a little momentum too. But if Carioca can completely mega gap Peach, which would not be the craziest thing to happen, there's definitely an angle for Pain.
And I think that with you guys talking about it as well on Gringos Liberados this week, one of the real things that Fluxu have sort of driven up on is that Peach is now playing the game. Split number 1 was fully in the bin in terms of import slots that have been, used well. That was not the case for Peach. In Split 2, keeping pace with the rest of our junglers. Call it the bare minimum, but it's getting them wins.
Yeah, and like, you know, Peach was still at the start of the split putting record numbers of deaths on the board over the course of single series and weeks, but he's putting slightly less deaths on the board and is also doing things. So
Yeah.
that's an improvement, and it's been enough to get Flux into a 3-2 position. Now, if we check in on the draft right now, we have pretty wide focus. We got a couple bot laners, Caitlyn and Karma taken away, Orianna from mid lane, 3 junglers, 3 very kind of dive-heavy junglers removed, but it has not stopped Peach getting his hands on the J4 and a Bard from Momochi. Momochi's Bard absolutely cooks, by the way. I'm happy he's got this pick. He's looked very strong on it. But Pain, they've got the classic Varus, a very consistent, valuable B1 pick. Looks like they can pair it with a Nico for Curry, and we'll see what the last option is going to be for them in this first rotation.
Yeah, I wonder what's going to sort of piece this all together here. The Nico gets locked on in that common, or rather common, but the powerful bot lane 2 versus 2, certainly something that I'm eager to keep our eyes on. And what is it that the Bard's going to be playing or laning up with? Yezreal is still open if they want to take that and play with a little bit of range. And you've got Jhin as well still if we want to be the Bao special. It was the Bull special, wasn't it? But Bao, you know, he loves the Jhin as well.
It was Bao as well.
Yeah,
Bao's an aficionado for sure, and he's still playing it. Bull has not been dropping so many Jhin games, but Bao's still rocking that one. He has gone for the Sivir this time, though, and I don't think we've seen Sivir Bard too much, but it does give them a nice late game to play through, and the lane 2v2 can't be that bad. Sivir's laning is pretty darn good now.
We had the joke that Jhin was Mr. Useful. I think Sivir could be here Mrs. Useful. Not to say that they are, you know...
brackets serious.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
She's actually very useful.
Actually does things, regardless of, you know, skill shot independent, Sivir presses our team go forward. Is the clause there for Bao, and we'll see if he can pilot this quite nicely. I like the idea that this is Fluxu building towards a dive composition. What I don't like is that they're doing that into a Nico necessarily, who can disrupt that dive quite easily with a Pot Blossom, but we'll see if more dive champions do get locked in or if they're taken away by Pain. I think that would be the route I would go for here, where the Pain Gaming coaches.
Okay, second rotation, the Ari removed from Kaney, the Rumble taken away from Curti. I am going to be watching Curti with quite a close beady eyes here. This guy, I think, was really struggling. And same with it, Peach was. Curti, we did not really get to see even the lane 1v1 prowess that we saw flashes of in his first split. He was really struggling up there. However, we have also inexplicably just kind of turned around that top side. And Robo has also been having an absolute mare of it. This was the guy that Zinz was farming for solo kills, you know what I mean? It was pretty ugly stuff. We saw Vayne top lane from him. It looks like he'd never played the champion before. It was horrendous, I'll be honest. So let's put him on, I don't know, something normal. The Scion is unbanned, you know, Cassante is available, even though there's no Rumble to counter it with, or to counter with it. So I don't know, bro. I just want to see Robo play a normal top laner, and let's just maybe let Kaney and Trigger play the game.
Put the fries in the bag style top lane for Robo, right? Like, just do your job, buddy. And maybe we'll see other better things from Pain Gaming elsewhere. Now, the Rise gets locked in, which, again, a champion that benefits greatly with movement speed. We typically see that Ghost taken for Rises into the mid lane, so we'll see whether or not this synergy with the Sivir can do very well. A very solid team fight composition for Fluxu already picked up for themselves, right? This is a lot of AoE between the Sivir and the Rise, a lot of ricochets. For Pain Gaming, I'm looking for them to try and split the play up. This is your chance now to kind of go against everything that Trajan's just said. Go full split push. Let's see Olaf. Let's see these side lane picks that can handle a 1-3-1.
Yeah, for sure, right? The Robo Olaf, would love to see that one come out. I don't know if there's maybe a Nara in the offing here with an Anivia to play into.
But nice to put the fries in the bag champion right there.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I Malphite into a Sivir, you need to pop the shield beforehand, but you also have Nico and Anivia and Varus. Between the four of you, you're going to land something on her, right? He's only got one shield. And it looks like they might pivot back to the Nara, in fact, so we are going to see that one. So I think this is probably a decent shot. It does give him a side lane presence to play with. It's not as easy to 1v2 and to dominate there. He can be a little bit silly on this champion, as we've seen in the past, but ultimately I think this is the right call for Pain with this comp.
Yeah, and it gives them, again, a good team fight to go up against Flux, who's already solid team fight as well, where they've got this Gnar now, a little bit of CC lined up with the Nico. Could do a lot of work for them. I love this Kennen as an answer. It's an age-old counter pick to the Gnar. It does very well to keep the Gnar at range when they go in. You slicing Maelstrom and you can just CC the Gnar to death. It's a really good answer, and it pairs up very nicely with their teamfight composition. For me, Fluxu here, they've drafted incredibly well. They've got themselves a composition with a clear identity. And I'm just hoping really that they can make the most of that and try and take these 5 versus 5s. Now, it does take a little bit of time for their composition to come online. They're going to be requiring just a little bit of time before they can do, incredibly crazy things. But if Pain Gaming don't find those early advantages, I can see these team fights later on being really tricky for them.
Yes, and the interesting thing for me about this composition for Fluxu is it's not as easy for Cody to just run away with this game of 1v9. A lot of the Fluxu wins, especially when they were turning their season around, came off the back of monster Cody performances. Now he's got the Rise. He really needs to stack up kind of 2 completed items before he's going to start dealing a lot of damage. 3 for the Actualizer really gets him going. It's into Anivia, which has emerged as quite a consistent Rise counter, especially in that early stage. So I think that it's not the easiest game for Cody to 1v9. This does mean that Fluxu are going to have to show a bit more of a team-wide success here. I think to put the win on the board. As you said, Root, you like their team comp. I think they've given themselves good tools to do this. And against Pain, it certainly is a bit of a shaky opponent they find themselves up against right now. So what can Cody do on this Rise, and what can Carioca do on this jungle? Can he actually destabilize Peach and remind us all of last split Peach? As opposed to letting him continue to improve.
Yeah, I mean, the hope, obviously, for Pain is that they can make sure that his life is pretty darn miserable. And I don't know that that's going to be too easy with the way that we've seen Peach start to develop a little bit here. As the top Skylight matchup, the one that they are looking and keeping their eyes on for this game. Robo, a top laner with such story, such history, the most winningest top laner in the CBLOL. Sort of a bit of a fall from grace here in Split in Split 1. Sorry, not the CBLOL Cup, not Split 2 here, but yeah, he's up against Curti, this new age mid lane or new age top laner, the CBLOL.
As much as I and long-time viewers of the CBLOL English will know, have been off the Robo train for years at this point. If anything, I never really got on it. And was forever, the joke was always X random new rookie top laner is better than Robo was my soundbite every year.
Yeah.
I think that right now, if we don't turn this season around for Pain, we are in danger of approaching BRTT levels of why did we play this last split? It's really not looking good. And I would love, just for the sake of it not being depressing, I would love for that not to be the narrative this time.
Yeah, I mean, the good narrative here would be Pain Gaming make a bit of a comeback. They do something interesting, and Robo can, end on a benefit, a plus, really, more so than anything. But
yeah,
you say the way things are trending at the minute, that's not looking like the case.
Yeah, like maybe we sneak into playoffs and we maybe win the first round. We scrape through with a 3-2 win, and then we come up against who's the best top laner left in the league, so that he can lose to that in the lower bracket, something like that. That would be fine. It's Shino, right? Rounds up against Loud in the lower bracket, second round, loses a close series. Shino finally overcomes Robo in 5 games, and he can walk out head held high. That's the ideal. So Rose, if you can put that all in the script right now, that would be fine. And then we'll hopefully be having the vibes maintained for Robo's split through the rest of 2026.
Fandom. Yeah.
Yes.
As well, because I think that's what they're gonna like that. I mean, it must really be quite painful to watch such a name have these rough times of things. But less of that. We can look at how this game's going to look to pan out, and already through the early stages of this one, you can see that the Kennen expectedly shoving in on this top side. The fact that you're maybe working towards getting a plate here for Curti is going to be pretty big, again, to extend that gold lead early on. I will draw your attention to where our junglers are on the map and where Curti's wards are currently, as the answer currently to that question is nowhere, but there is a Xin Zhao relatively close.
I'm looking for them, and I'm struggling to see them, I'll be honest. I'll let you know when I find one.
Yeah.
But Curti is going to get traded on by Robo, shoved back from that turret. So far, relatively even across the board. We have the Ignite pickup for Curti as well, as Robo has just gone for the TP. So definitely some potential kill threat being threatened. Both the junglers going at it. Peach and Karaoke smashing into each other head on, but Karaoke just about holding on to the CS lead. Cody would have been the first to rotate. Pops the Ghost from mid lane, in fact, as well. And the junglers will break apart, no kills found.
Yeah, and it looks like on that top side that the wave was going to get frozen. Obviously, you highlighted the Ignite for Curti. Means that he, when he recalls, can't get back to base and help out, as I actually think that Peach has pulled a blinder here. I think they were looking to try and collapse on Peach, and they don't actually know that he's EQ'd over the wall.
Yeah.
He's now going to go gank bot lane as well.
Oh, he has dissolved into the darkness. Is going to pop out as an ambush for Trigger. Bao is ready to get that damage. The flag and drag is picture perfect. Trigger's flashed away, followed by this J4,
Wow.
but it's not enough to get away. First blood for the Fluxu jungler, and that is not what Pain fans wanted to see.
No, and Peach there, I mean, a little bit outplaying, a little bit mental warfare going on as he finds a really solid gank into that bot side. And I think that Trigger, you know, you're in that position, expecting somebody from your team be able to tell you where the Jarvan is. Nobody was giving him that communication. They had no idea what Peach had just done. Maybe expected him to have recalled at some stage, but wow, when he starts walking up like this, you know, Trigger's aware, okay, something bad's happening. Flashes, but Peach is right there to follow. I mean, shout out to Momochi for trying to KS that one. Trigger was dead as all hell, but throw that Q for good measure.
Yeah. Why not? Why not? Peach is going to walk away with that first kill, and now we can see the mid laners going awfully low. Cody without the mana to really do anything about this. Kaney obviously still with the egg in pocket. As Momochi's going to rotate out and see if Kaney overstays his welcome. As the wall comes down, Curry's arrived as well. We're really just forcing the supports into this lane. Flash away from Cody's rise, keeps him alive, but he has got to recall now. He just has nothing left in the tank.
Yeah, now's your time. You did you did the funny haha 200 HP trades in the mid lane. Recall, okay? You've had your fun. And both of the mid laners accept that, they take it. And, you know, no surprises here. We've got 2 mana stackers in the mid lane. We're building tier, we're building Rod of Ages. Ain't a lick of AP being built up for the first 10-15 minutes of this one. We're just waiting to get to those crucial breakpoints. And honestly, Rod of Ages breakpoint actually pretty important here, because if you get your Rod completed before somebody else does, that starts stacking a little bit earlier. You can have this really important mid-game turn on where the other mid laner is still waiting for that level up, still waiting for that Rod of Ages proc.
Fluxu crashing in this bot wave. Bao and Momochi comfortably in control of the wave state. The Silverbard doing all the work it needs to do. We saw Bao went straight back into the call, knows what he's doing right now in this game. Not necessarily playing for the 2v2 kills. That's not the style that we've seen out of this guy. However, he is still performing a lot better in this split than he was last time. And it was always, he's quite inoffensive in the CBLOL Cup, right? It wasn't anything necessarily massively wrong with what was going on, just not a lot going on at all. But it seems like Fluxu have been able to harness like the styles a little better. They've got more they can do with their jungle. Bao is able to scale up comfortably and be more useful later on. And they have this huge firepower in the mid lane with Cody that gives them that driving force.
Yeah, and we had really good things to say about Fu as well. Unfortunately, you know, just whether it was just a necessity of the team that they needed Fu gone, right? Like, something feels like something's gone there.
We have a small play developing in the mid lane. Karaoke trying to get into range. The ghost from Cody cannot get him quite back to safety, and in comes the Xin Chao. Karaoke picks up, or Curry, I should say, takes away that kill. Pain will back away, so successful catch on the mid laner there. However, you have, I'll be honest, Roodood, you've drawn my ire, because you've mistakenly... You've forgotten that the mid laner for Fluxu was House last split.
Was
and
it? No.
That's highly unacceptable for me to deal with. So
Fluxu,
I am going to be coming to your house
that's fair enough.
to deliver
Fluxu have had
punishment.
Fu for their entire career, and that's the only mid laner that Fluxu should have ever had.
They definitely did at some point. I think Fu's in CD right now, but it was not.
He's wishing he was in this one. Wishing he was back in the CBLOL, and I apologize to Fu for bringing this up. I apologize to House as well for forgetting his
that's
existence.
the real thing that I'm looking for here. So you cannot do my boy like this.
Well, something happened for Fluxu last split that wasn't good, and whether or not House was a... I mean, I actually, you know, now you've jogged my memory here, Trajan. Can remember that House was a really non-egregious part of the Fluxu piece. Was like
really good.
Yeah, he was.
I could split from him.
And it wasn't like, you know, this change for Cody has offset the level of mid laners drastically from split to split. But the team clearly is functioning better with this.
Yes, this formula is working a lot better. It cannot be understated how much that is true. And Cody is certainly not to be undersold right here. So Cody, as much as he's gone slightly down in this lane. But as we said, the Anivia is an understood answer to the Rise right now. Plus, he has had to deal with a couple of multi-man ganks to get him through there. So Fluxu are going to have to put this win together without a Cody lead to ride them into that mid game. For now, the grub's being contested right now. Peach and Karaoke staring across the table at each other, with the grubs being taken, and Peach will concede. He will blink first, and Karaoke will pick up the last.
Actually didn't know that Karaoke didn't have Smite for that, so could have gone for a little bit of a 50-50 tussle for all three of them if Peach had, got information, but no way of knowing that. Not a big problem. As a good stun comes through for Kaney, you can see you've already got that level advantage in the mid lane, finding some pretty decent trades as well. Sort of in line with what we would expect, but Momochi's here, gives you a couple of cupcakes or coffees as they are on the Snow Day Bard, and means that he's going to have a little bit more health to try and play up against this really, really brutal counter.
Yeah, Cody drops the ultimate, or not Cody, I should say. Curti drops the ultimate to top side. Robo will trade Mega Knight to disengage. Karaoke looking for more. Peach slides in, but doesn't get the knock up. And now Karaoke is flashing into range. We're all just pressing all of our buttons on top of each other in top side. But Peach is going to go down first. Karaoke dropping a little low. The Ignite is doing a lot of work. Curti flashes in to secure that kill. Can he outplay Robo? The vision is in the brush. He can't use it to dodge. But the massive proc from the Kennen passive is huge. Curry arrives first, though. And Robo slips away. Curti did his damnedest in that top side.
Yeah, I did get a stun there, and I thought for a second that, with one extra auto, might have been able to find the kill, but Summoner Heal from Curry comes through, and Arrow was going to turn Mega as well. He fancies a plate also. Might be able to take a second one. It's just Momochi trying to defend this, so nothing big going to happen. You can see in this mid lane, this should be a really good trade here. Cody.
My guy is on the edge right now, but this is more of the Curti that we wanted to see. This is the Curti we saw at the very beginning. RMC was quite impressed with what we saw from Curti initially. It's been a little of a break, but Kaney, again, completely but the Scorch is that taking Cody down? Something just about knocks him over the line, and Kaney will stroll away.
I dare say an errant right click, because I don't think he had the mana to cast a spell, and if he did, it would have just outright killed them, so... whatever it was, you step too close, and that's not great. But on this top side, you get to see Curdy here forcing Robo out. It's actually a really good sequence of plays from the Pain Gaming top side. They do actually find this 2 versus 2 pretty darn convincingly. Without Curdy doing, his darndest there, using a good flash to dodge out from the wind becomes lightning, using the lightning rush as well to get on top of the Xin Zhao so that stun lands immediately, buying more time. Unfortunately, it's a case of your support got here first, so Pain Gaming able to find that win on the top side for it.
Yeah, and now Pain comes out of these first 11 minutes, 4-2 up. Lost out on the 2 grubs and the first Drake, but they have a 1.5k gold lead to play with, particularly around this mid lane. Kaney's Anivia has been doing a whole lot of work, is the first to that Rod of Ages. I've got to tell you, I'm not the biggest fan of this tier catalyst nonsense in the mid lane, especially when both sides are doing it, but we have finally got some AP on the board for Pain, and Kaney's been controlling the space. He's been catching Cody out with the walls pretty consistently. Peach, though, looking for what was working before, potentially threatening a dive onto bot side, but Trigger will not be caught this time.
We cannot allow this mid lane propaganda to spread across the seas, I think. And with all of these tier items, it's not looking good. Robo, though, just dashed in.
Curti just instantly drops the ultimate. Robo pretty comfortable coming out of that trade, to be honest. Isn't really an instant kill threat. It's still got Mega Knight bar coming up. Flashes himself this time. It's Robo's turn to flash past the skill shot, and doesn't even need the Mega to get the 1v1.
I mean, Curdy misplayed that pretty egregiously there. He did the hard work dodging the front of the queue and then just walks into the back half of it, which gives Robo the damage he needs to take that fight. And now Pain Gaming are going to extend that one play further. They've got push in mid. They've got push in bot as well, apparently. And the top lane is finding solo kills. It's a 2.3k gold lead right now for Pain Gaming.
Yeah, it's pretty solid for Pain right now. They've been looking for a single ray of hope, as their dreams of playoffs are already dead, to be clear. There's no way for them to qualify from these games, but they can certainly spike Fluxu's wheel, and they can give the fans something to look forward to for next split if they can give us a little glimmer of hope. And as we said before, if we can start seeing some little better performances, some good games from Robo, certainly will turn my happiness around. And with outplays like this, Triforce on board, a classic Gnar in his hands, none of this vain top stuff, we will hopefully have a little bit more to see from this guy.
Yeah, the potato has been sliced. It's been cut into nice even strips. It's currently in the fryer. Whether or not Robo can take them from there to put them in the bag remains to be seen. But a 2-0 and 1 start for him means he's doing his job well so far.
Absolutely no notes for the time being. So, for Fluxu's side, we see that Pain have managed to stabilize. They've evened up the Drakes. They've got a gold lead for themselves. We're now looking to see what the response is going to be. They've got a Sivir scaling up. They have a Rise scaling up. is, I guess, do we need to just kind of sit back on the laurels and wait for a couple items deep onto our main clear carries, or is there room for Peach to still make something active happen before then?
Nope, do nothing. Sit back, Sivir rise, have fun.
Okay.
I think that's my agenda right now if I'm Fluxu. It's how do they actually push and how do they do anything? Well, in fairness, if Pain Gaming can get to a turret, they've got Varus, they've got Gnar boulders for poke, so it's not nothing. And I do think that trying to stop the siege is fortunately quite easy for Fluxu because they've got super scalar, do nothing champions in the clear the wave sense that there's not really ever a way that you can force onto a Sivir or onto a Rise if they can have access to the wave.
Curry crashing in, getting these plates as the top laners have been switched to bot side. Mid laners now on top. And the AD carries farming it out in mid. The presence from Pain does not materialize into a play in bot lane. Now they've rotated to mid lane instead. Flash is trade in the mid lane. Trigger's caught up in the Cataclysm. Curry's round the corner, but cannot stop Bao picking up that first kill. The Bard ultimate is sidestepped by Karaoke, coming in from the north side of the river. Gets that dash in onto Peach. Present guard committed. Knockup found. Curry looking for a knockup. Peach fully commits
Karaoke
onto the backside, and Karaoke is getting chipped apart by Bao. Second kill secured by the Sivir. Fluxu just had more members in place at that time, and they're very happy with the outcome.
Yeah, I mean, they ran the numbers and they knew that they'd got the advantage in that instance, managed to get a 2-for-0 here in the mid lane. I thought Peach had, really largely overshot how he was looking to play that fight out, but now with Momochi pathing down to this bot side, I don't think Robo's in too much trouble here. But they're definitely looking for it. And poor Curty here, I must have seen him miss at least 3 cannon minions this game, and that's just another one to add to the tally, so I apologize for bringing that to light for him, but for Fluxu here, they saw that they'd got the numbers advantage. Peach going for the flash flag and drag to begin with, all it does is force the Varus flash, so knows that actually, in the long run, that's going to work out for me. And that's just all it is. If you fake the Varus flash, you can then follow up with your Cataclysm. I thought here that Peach was actually in a little bit of trouble and that Karaoke might be able to do the ungodly thing and just sort of turn this in a 1v3 as Xin Zhao. Not quite that strong a champion just yet. Thank you, he says, as a marksman player, knowing that Xin Zhao's can't 1v1 me forever. But still,
yes.
Really good plays here by Fluxu. That little bit of a stabilizer has put them to within touching distance of Pain's gold lead.
Yeah, they actually know their limits in this game, which I think is quite important. This is something we did not really see from Peach and Curty. Well, Curty still is kind of pushing it a little bit, but Peach especially seems to know when he can go in, when he commit to a play, when the right time is to make that judgment call. That seems to have just been calibrated a lot better as compared to Split 1 so far, and we're really seeing that pay off as he is leading the charge for Fluxu into the successes that they've found so far. I believe he has 100% KP, he does. And Pain have found plays of their own, but ultimately the Fluxu jungler continues to show us a pathway to
no
providence, as it were. Bard ultimate lands. Here comes the knock-up to follow. As you say, no flash to be used. Bao's going to skate away behind the turrets as Kaney has TP'd in, has caught Peach behind the wall, but the flag and drag cooldown will come back, and he will slide over the wall to safety. Clean pickup on the kill for Fluxu.
And, we talked about side laners, no flash, no mobility, being that free money bag in the last series. Trigger feeling a little bit like that here in the first game of this one, the Varus. Really tricky to navigate these situations where you're getting collapsed upon. Doesn't really have the support of an enchanter behind him. Curry's out doing his own thing, trying to make his own plays. And for what it's worth, it's got 2 kills on the Nico. But
yeah.
It is yet to really defend Trigger on this mid lane.
Kaney's going to get this Herald down with Karaoke in tow. This mid turret likely to fall. Perhaps not quite. Cody and Bao should be able to clear it out. Momochi is flashing in. Does not want to let Kaney get away with this one. He's already flashed and TP'd. The Anivia is bound to lose the egg and be knocked down as Peach is holding down the front line. Trigger, though, nails the piercing arrow, I should say, picks up that counter kill, and we're taking a hot minute to get done with this Anivia, guys. Cody's got to rotate over. Kaney is burning. He is eventually going to fall. Pain maybe look for more now. Robo's on the flank, bounced away by the blast cone. Curry cannot find a pop blossom, but they've just got so many members in place. Bao's in the back line. He doesn't want to let them get away with this. Through the Bard portal into the ultimate. It's a 3v2 now. The Rise ultimate comes down. Cody cannot get it done. Triple kill for Bao. Robo is still trying to get some work done, but Cody slipped away on a sliver, and this Sivir has been untouched for 7 years and locks down a quadra kill with the ace.
And you've got the flicker blades there, so you're just rattling boomerang blade after boomerang blade off. It's an ace for 3 there, and Pain Gaming not quite able to push that goal right all the way over the line. Feel like, again, a couple of missed executions from Pain Gaming cost them dearly in this play. And for Kaney as well here. How does he live for so long? Well, this wall is perfect. It stops Bao and Cody, and then they decide, actually, we've got to help on this bot side of the fight. Curti commits so much to try and take down this Anivia, spends so long trying to work his way through it, to the point that Kaney actually almost gets to turn around and start doing damage for himself. But it's all about Bao on this bot side. He comes in, free hitting this entire time, just waiting for On the Hunt to come up. He doesn't get focused at all. Trigger there tries to do a little bit of damage, where really, Pain Gaming, if they just turn on Fluxu, if they turn on Bao, the fight is won for them. Robo here, if he fires a spell at Bao, Bao dies, but he's just ignoring him.
He's invisible. And he's got the invisibility cloak on, bro. He's actually like, he's standing between them with a hand on each shoulder of the Pain players, and they cannot see him. Like, I don't need to say, oh, hang on a second, we'll go straight back into another play right here. Curry gets a couple knockups from the front line, but the Bard ultimate will reset the pace of the play. Curti's in with the slicing Maelstrom. Bao's got another kill. They seem to have noticed he exists this time, and Robo gets the stuns down with a clean Gnar combo, and he will not be allowed to free fire this time. It's Cody's job for the DPS to get it down if he can. Robo hunting for more, misses the Q onto Curti, stunned up by the cannon as well. And Fluxu should be able to escape. Curti might be under threat. Now the range has come through, but he gets away from the piercing arrow and the boomerang. And Pain will turn it around a little bit.
Yeah, kills in favor of Fluxu, but HP in favor of Pain Gaming. This is how it starts off. Curry getting caught a little bit trying to clear out vision, and I mean, Peach goes hell for leather for this Nico, who then turns it around, gets a double pop blossom. Curti with the slowest cannon combo, justifiably, because there's a Bard ulti in play. But it was hilarious to watch as he's caught between the Anivia wall and a flash that he ends up burning. And yeah, like you say, Bao actually ends up getting caught out there. Really good job that Robo, you know, he's managed to turn off the blinders, knows that Sivir is a problem, gets a kill there.
Yeah, first death for Bao in this game, 7-1, 20 minutes in, is fast approaching Infinity Edge as that third item, so the Sivir is absolutely ready to go. 3k above trigger right now, and Pain are going to have to continuously find angles onto him, or they're going to get shredded. You know, sometimes they show us things like gold in the game, or damage in the game. I want to see number of auto attacks cast, and I feel like Sivir is going to be 3 or 4 times as much as anyone else, the amount of time this guy's been allowed to just right-click stuff, as Momochi is kind of caught out. Doesn't connect the Bard ultimate this time, and he's trapped in that wedge. Cannot escape as Kaney picks it up. Now there's no egg available for Anivia. Bao's over the wall, getting the auto attacks down once again. Peach locking up Pain in the Cataclysm. Bao once again, deep into melee range, but it's not working quite so well this time, as Pain will turn on him.
I mean, it's fundamentally just a 4v5. They're taking this fight without Curti. He has no TP. He took Ignite to try and win the lane. It didn't work for him. And now on this side lane, yeah, he's able to find a tier 1 turret, but that's not really the price that you're looking for. Or that prize that you're looking for, really, as Fluxu. And now Pain Gaming starting to swing the metronome back in their favor in these fights.
I did joke on Gringos Liberados and in the pregame Rood that I thought this series might be a bit grotesque, and I kind of feel like it's going that way, you know?
It's trending in that direction. From Momochi getting caught, hitting nobody with the Tempered Fate, to, honestly, what is a really good engage from Peach. And I think if Bao steps down here to get a couple of autos onto Curry just a little bit earlier, he can actually do a bit more damage back up when Robo comes into the fray. But it's, you know, he had one good fight and thinks that the rest of them are all going to go that way. You need to play with a little bit of abandon. You know, there's the term reckless abandon.
Yes.
You can't be reckless with it.
Yeah, you need to hold on to that abandon. Do not simply toss it away quite so easily. As Curti tries to get in range for the ultimate to Robo, does just about get the last hit for a stun, but doesn't get the damage through, and Robo will stroll away. As Peach under fire from Karaoke once again. Bao is flashing the wall to try and get a side lane kill onto Robo. I mean, it's going to happen eventually, you've got to imagine, as Bao will spell shield past the boomerang. Drops a pink ward as well. And ulted, we did an awful lot for a kill on an R with no objectives to take off the back of it, no?
Well, yeah, exactly. And I think that's the... If in the next 5 minutes no fights happen, that was worth it. Good job, Bao.
Yeah.
Odds are, though, it's probably not going to be the case. But I think flashing for Robo, is a choice that I would think twice about. And I think that Curti, honestly, if he'd have just slow played that a little bit more, might have been able to find the fight anyway. Even still, that just does not feel worth it. But Fluxu, with that member advantage on the map, they do push forward. They do clear out the majority of the lingering vision that Pain Gaming had put down. And I say that there's still enough on the Baron, so they don't really clear anything out, but they put their own down, which is, I guess, good enough. As Cody finally gets his Rod of Ages proc.
Yes, so we do have Cody now, 2 items deep, Rod of Ages procced, is in a position to step into the spotlight in this game. It's been very quiet from him so far. Kaney's certainly been, I think, the more impactful player. And we still have, of course, an actualizer spike on the 3rd item to come through for Cody in just a little while. But given that Bao is being a bit flippant with his lead, I think Fluxu may need to, in fact, call on old reliable Cody to step up and start carrying some plays, because Sivir did do a whole lot of work in the one fight that Fluxu forgot she existed. However, since then, it's been a bit tougher.
I mean, this is the AD carry syndrome right now, where you have one good fight, and all of a sudden, you feel like Thanos, like you are incredibly strong because you are, and feel like you can just kill everybody. And then you realize slowly, actually, I can't just be an absolute lunatic. I am going to have to pretend I'm an AD carry who's not super far ahead, because the power of the role comes in the fact that you're incredibly squishy. You get caught once, you die.
Yes, you don't really have a... Sivir even has more second chances than most with a spell shield built into the kit and a move speed boost, but there are only so many chances you can get in a single play. And Fluxu have seemed to have pumped the brakes right now. Still 1,000 gold in the lead. Pain have picked up the last 2 dragons, however. So the Fluxu strength from early game has not translated into a potential soul threat down the line. With a Mountain Rift building right now, I'm sure Fluxu will like to try and get a better position for the next play. 45 seconds on that objective. And Peach has had a very, very strong game today. He's been making great decisions. He's been calling great shots. And let's see if he can put Fluxu in a better position walking up to this next objective.
And I mean, Momochi as well. 10 assists on the board. Doing incredibly well. And we knew that this pick was going to be able to cook, so quite happy with the fact that he's had a solid performance thus far. I feel like if Fluxu just sit back, wait a little bit, let's get Bao that 4th item, 100% crit chance, let's get that, whether it's LDR or Mortal Reminder, picked up and ready to go, then you should be able to have this really solid front-to-back team fight. With the Drake spawning in about 8 seconds' time, maybe they're going to force the issue a little bit sooner, and that is exactly the case. Fully on, not on Vision actually, they have got a pink ward down, so looking to 2-man this.
Pain are not aware. They are currently guarding bot side of mid-river, and as they now discover with a blue trinket, perhaps too late to the party. 5k down on the Baron, now 3-2-1, and it is going to go through Karaoke, could not get a range. And the perfectly timed Realm Warp as the Pot Blossom goes off under their feet. Fluxu pull off the heist.
Yeah, they had so many ways out of there as well, be it Realm Warp, be it a portal out through over the wall. Like, they'd planned that to a T, and yeah, Pain Gaming, they're going to get Soul Point, but I think that Fluxu here, they're going to lay down some serious damage to those structures. They want to be really looking to push this game. Oh, Robo, what?
What are we doing? Hops forward, tries to flash away. Peach is going to slide over, and Bao chops him down with the boomerang blade. That is a costly goof from the Pain top laner. They're already staring down Baron waves, and they don't have a top laner for 45 seconds. Trigger's vulnerable on the bot side. He's had to flash away, but it's now knocked up anyway, and Peach is just going to stab him to death with a giant spear. Pain coming apart at the seams at the worst possible moment.
And Karaoke might be able to escape. He's got an E to the Gromp there, but what on earth have we just witnessed? It was a colossal toss by Pain Gaming. I mean, in fairness to Trigger, I don't feel like he had too many ways out of that situation, but yeah, that's something that feels pretty bad. Karaoke might fancy this. Never mind. Cody presses his level 17 rise buttons and he kills him.
Yeah, he can fancy it as much as he wants. He's still dead. So Bao has, in front of that wave, Bao was just completing the tier 2 destruction with Baron Empowered push right there. Curti shepherding in mid waves. Kaney doing a great job at holding down this mid push, it must be said. The Anivia value coming in very clearly there. And do we need to see a replay of this? I mean, it's just blunder central. That's really all we need to see here.
Yeah. I guess the pivotal thing is, how does the fight on the bot side break out? Like, how did they sort of stick around too long? I guess they just went for the dragon, and as a consequence, were routed off through that bot side jungle. But with the Baron in tow, they've taken down 2 tier 2 turrets thus far. 55 seconds still remaining on the buff, so you can see attention turns to this top side, and I think Kaney alone won't be able to do anything, but Momochi here, try and stop it.
Oh,
yeah.
That's a very, very edge of the Bard ultimate, but Karaoke flies in to save him. Peach on the wrong side of the wall, slides in at a very janky angle, and is pushed into the direction. Curti, though, finally gets the slicing maelstrom he's been hunting for all game, a Realm Warp to back it up. Pain still just about breathing. A couple will fall, the rest will limp back to the fountain, but Fluxu, that's the play they needed.
And the call is give turrets, let Robo split push. Or at the very least, that's what Robo thinks, because he's pushing away down on the bot side. You can't defend that 5 versus 4. Is Bao dead? No, he's not. Okay, good. The turret just barely falls there, which is nice to see. And Pain Gaming, again, in two minds, just completely split on what they're trying to do. Are we defending or are we giving? Like, it's okay to give it if we're planning on getting gold elsewhere, but don't die 4 people for it.
Yeah, it is really hard to understand sometimes what we're seeing here. We've got into replay just as someone's about to walk into Cody. I'll assume they survive, but this is just Fluxu playing with the confidence they need. It looked for a second like they might have overreached. It was certainly not the cleanest, as we see from the Peach dive forward and the low HP bars, but ultimately, without Robo's Mega Gnar, they just don't have enough in the tank to stop them.
No, and I mean, this is a really good, actually, pickup by Peach. I sort of questioned him for dragging forward. He wanted more health. He had the Guardian Angel ready. Dying was optimal.
True.
So very well played. You were right in your assumption, by the way. Curry did live as he face checked into the Rise, and Cody seemingly let him run away for free. So good news for the supports of the world that Rises are taking mercy on you if you get a little bit lost when warding. But in terms of future win conditions, like it's just team fights for Fluxu. They're nowhere near this Mountain Soul. Honestly, I'm Fluxu in this position. Give them the dragon, and then we can have an Elder in 5 minutes' time, and then we can actually win the game with that. But realistically, try and take the dragon, secure another Baron, close the game with that Baron. You've got a rite of passage through the top lane with no inhibitor turret there to defend against, and I think that should be the play that they opt into. I do like Robo's build as much as we've seen him do some heinous things. He probably wins the 1v1 versus Curti and Cody right now.
Yeah, the only guy holding on to an individual gold lead right now, 3k up over the Kennen right here, and his 4 item sleep on the Gnar is tricky to handle in that side wave, that's for sure, as Bao currently kind of buckling under the weight of his 5.4k gold lead, jingling around the rift with his pockets full of cash. And if he can now, he's got flash and ult and barrier and spell shield and GA, so even he has a bit more license to be a bit crazy with it if he wants to commit for these fights that he is enjoying having so much. As Pain struggling to hold on to purchase of their own jungle. Peach is somewhat isolated right now, but he just is in such a strong position on the map that Pain don't see a way to get on top of him. Karaoke gets a little bit sick of this disrespect. There's a route that comes through and forces a flag and drag to safety.
They're looking for a fight. Curti has no flash, so getting in's not easy.
Oh, 2 frontiers. Curti's looking for trigger, but Peach has gone onto that front line. He's dropping lower and lower. Manages to get out of there. Mikhail to safety, but is a little bit low. Pain are giving up control of the jungle, going through mid lane instead as the dragon is live.
Yeah, for the love of the game here. Fluxu going for a bit of an early skirmish, making sure that Pain Gaming have to walk through and know that they're not going to give them an easy time of things. With that in mind, Pain Gaming say, yeah, it's second Drake. Have it. We're not interested in losing the game here. For this. Instead, they're the ones heading up towards the top side. Please don't start the Baron.
Yeah,
clear out the vision.
Resetting.
Yeah, that's good.
Fine. Okay.
I accept this as a compromise.
Yeah, Robo back on the bot side does have TP ready to go and will likely be called into it as, following that flowchart, that path to victory laid out for Fluxu. Dragon secured. Baron now next on the docket. They can clear out the vision and dare Pain to do something about it.
I mean, the thing is that Robo's playing so safe down on this bot side. There's nobody there, and you win the 1v1.
Yeah, just get stuck in, lad.
Yeah, you've built explicitly for it. Like, if you don't feel confident in winning the 1v1, then why are you there in the first place? You need to get in the mixer, start trying to take these turrets. Okay, now Curti actually channeling his recall. So you forced some semblance of pressure on the map, but I want to see you. You've got your megas running out. You're not doing anything. Walk up, start hitting that turret,
Yeah, I mean, I'm almost always a big advocate for Robo to stop being so crazy in the side lane, but right now, that's what they need. We really need our one strong player to leverage it, as Peach is going to get walled off right now. Karaoke looking for a flank, gets onto Momochi. Robo has actually arrived for the team fight, and Cody takes a lot of damage. The Gnar well away from Mega as the TP comes in from Curti, locked up by the Varus ultimate. The Gnar flashes away. Deep into the backline goes Cody, uses the Zonias to buy time. Trigger caught up by the Maelstrom, and Fluxu are diving deeper. Curry with the 3-man knockup. Robo's in with the Mega Gnar. It's a great engage if it was an at all winnable team fight. And Fluxu take the win. It's too little, too late from Pain. They finally find some angles, but they cannot stop the ace. and Fluxu will stand strong with a mid push to go with it. They're going to clear up game 1.
Yeah, it's a 9k, 10k gold lead come the close of play, and it feels like the writing was on the wall there. If you're going for a 5 versus 5, it was never really going to work out. The Civ or the Rise, they just do far too much at this late stage. It's going to be Peach tanking up the turrets so the minions can survive, and Fluxu find themselves 1-0 up in this series. Pain Gaming still yet to get their name on the board.
Now it was a struggle for both teams at times. We did see some questionable stuff, but ultimately for Fluxu, you know, they didn't have to rely on Cody to kind of carry hard any part of this game. They did manage to get a lot of gold onto Bao, onto this Sivir. They managed to get Peach, especially, I think, has continued to be on the up and up. I love that Jarvan game from him. Him and Momochi were pairing up, setting up plays for the team, getting across the map, and not giving their lives away critically, right? There are a lot of times where Peach kind of ends up low, and you think, well, this is the classic Peach death counter on the go, but he manages to get away and is judging his decisions to be in and out, it seems like, on the right side of the line more often than not.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, his ability to play on that edge, like you say, just something that he's done so well and harnessed really in that game on the Jarvan. Again, a couple of flubs through the mid stages of the game, right? It wasn't flawless, it wasn't perfect from Fluxu, but are they likely to come out of this with a series win? Quite possibly. Is that going to put them at 4-2 and current sole possession of second? Yes, and that's the crazy thing that we're seeing at the minute. That even though, you know, you're struggling, if you're winning games, that's all that matters in this stage.
Yeah, they are holding strong. They are not tumbling over their own mistakes, not losing control of the game. Even when they do make an error, they lose a fight, they lose an individual play. They don't then lose track of the entire thread. You know, they still can see their win conditions. Their strengths are still there, and they're able to try and fix their problems and change the way they play and adapt through a game. This is what we need to see from Fluxu. We have not seen it from Fluxu for a hot minute, but this iteration here in Split 1 is looking very, very impressive in these situations. Let's go to a break for now. I'll be back with game number 2 of Pain versus Fluxu to see if Fluxu can get that second place lockdown all nice and tidy, or if Pain can continue to steal their games, push this series to a further level, and maybe get their first series win of the split. We'll find out. Welcome back, everybody, to the CBLOL English. Game 1 down between Pain Gaming and Fluxu. Fluxu fighting their way to that first win. And Pain Gaming, they showed us something. They showed us some things we understand, some things we don't. But we did get a 35-minute game out of it. And Fluxu are on the cusp of rising to sole control of second place.
Yeah, they showed us Robo winning the side lane, 1v1 solo kills, grouping up as 5, losing his mind, and then losing the game. Pretty synchronous in sync, you know?
Yeah.
It was a pretty disastrous run of events, and that's the way that things are going to go when you're 0-5 in game score or in series score. So you have to imagine that that's going to happen every now and then. Just feels a little bit bad that it's coming from probably the most veteran player that they've got.
Yes, certainly the Robo classics are still ever present. He certainly still is a unique player with these foibles, and we have seen these foibles for a long time, and they are still going strong.
We love
however many years it is. We do. I don't know what it is, 12 years into his career, something insane like that. So, for the time being, Pain going back to the drawing board here. We did see them go to some, drafting in a direction that made sense to us. They had the Karaoke Xin Zhao and the Robo Gnar, which seemed to be doing pretty well early on. The bot lane duo was suffering somewhat, but, the Kaney and Nivea was handling Cody very, very well. Will he be able to do the same thing in this next game, though? Because that was a strong matchup with Cody on a champion that does not necessarily run away with the early game. So there's room potentially for Fluxu, I think, to shift their focus, play a little bit more Cody, if they can get a matchup that enables that.
Yeah, and I think as well, Cody still did work late game, right? Like, it wasn't like this Rise was put in the dumpsters and then never bounced back. Cody just kind of sat back, absorbed the fact, okay, this is going to suck, and then turned online anyway. So it was a really good position for him to have found himself in, where obviously he got beat up early on, but he got that vindication later on where actually he's able to do a good amount of work and be the secondary carry right behind Bao.
Yes, absolutely. And Bao on the Sivir was cooking them up in team fights, cooking a little too hard at times, but ultimately he was able to get through a very comfortable lane and was using the Sivir to great effect later on. So, yeah, I think Fluxu are really developing into quite a well-rounded roster right now. What this top lane matchup is going to be, given how Robo was able to exploit it the first time round, and as I said, this mid lane matchup, I think, is going to be my main focuses here, as we're into the pick and ban. Orianna Pantheon banned by Fluxu, Vi Karma taken away from Pain, and a Nautilus to go on the pile at the end.
Alrighty. And I think that the Nautilus here may be suggesting some Lulu shenanigans afoot. So we'll see whether or not, Fluxu are wise to that, and they want to try and take something for themselves to dissuade that pairing going across. Most likely going to be with the Yunara, but we still got things like Corki Nami available as well as far as bot lane duos do go. Ashe Seraphine as well, another one that gets taken away from. So Yunara Lulu, is that the answer? Is that the source we're looking for here, Payne?
I think it might be. Trigger, certainly, I think, when he's comfortable in a game, we did see flashes of success from him in that first CBLOL Cup split when they brought him in on short notice. Things like Lucian, Yunara, things that can scale up and have a bit of a hands check element to them. I think this could be good for him. Pain, threatening that Nocturne first pick. Now, again, I have seen Lulu start to be paired with Nocturne more and more, because you do have a small kind of Paranoia Wild Growth combination that you can offer. So we'll see if Curry wants to pair that up with the Yunara Lulu in that bot side. But for Fluxu, what is their priority going to be? They might end up going towards something a bit stronger for Cody, perhaps. We've seen that Pain used that second rotation to ban him out pretty consistently. It looks like the choice might be a fairly standard Corki Nami, not split up at this point, and Bao and Momochi going to pick it up the duo.
Yeah, and then when you take this, Lulu Nocturne, you already highlighted it, we saw it in the last series as well, likely to be a really good pairing. If they want to take Yunara Lulu into this, it is a pretty rough bot lane to try to play out, but there's not an easy bot lane versus Corki Nami, so you're sort of dealing with whatever you can get given. It is dealer's choice in terms of how do you want to suffer, more so than anything else here, and we'll see. Yeah, it just feels like that makes the most sense. Yunara Lulu pairs nicely alongside your jungler as well, and that's, for me, that's the solid call.
Yeah, we're using a lot of champ select time to pick the things they're obviously going to pick, guys. Let's just lock it in and keep it rolling. We know what you're cooking here. We know what's on the docket. No need to hold back. As the Fluxu answer is the Aatrox, presumably coming into the jungle, though flexible into top lane still. And I don't know if you've seen this flavor from Peach this split. We might have once, but certainly, usually he is more of the bridging style to, you know, to success or failure. But this does put a little bit more of a carry onus on him.
It does, and I quite like that, to be honest. He's been really solid in his decision-making for the most part, so, you know, this is his opportunity, right? He's been playing these junglers who can get his team from the start to the end. Let's put him on a jungler that can actually be the part of the end, part of the solution, more than anything else. So if this goes well for Peach, we could be seeing him bounce into a brand new style, one that we're going to be excited for as the season goes on. And we could have ourselves with another instance of a team sort of rising from the ashes of their former split.
Kayney being pretty heavily targeted by Fluxu here, Ari and Aurora removed. The Zoe also taken away by Pain, so the mid lane being thinned out heavily on either side. I'm looking for a potential Akali ban here from Pain to take Cody away from one of his tried and trues. And of course we will still have some kind of melee threats, things like Silas potentially available. And like I say, well, I guess because Fluxu has gone into the Aatrox Corki option, they do have two really strong carries, so we don't necessarily, I think, need to see Cody on a full-end carry. Things like a Victor or Syndra, some sort of standard control mage, I think would work just as well, if they want to just go down that route.
Yeah, and I think that sort of preempts, well, would have looked toward you picking, or the enemy team picking Annie if you want to go for one of those more long-range picks. I'm curious as to why you're banning Annie, though. For me, that champion is just the most useless mid laner that never seems to actually do anything good, but you know it seems to still get plays, still get picked up, and if you've got good pieces around you, then sure thing.
Yeah, Cody doesn't know the range of Annie Q, I guess, so
yeah,
gotta ban it. There's no other option. As the Rumble locked in for Curti here, so a pretty standard blind up in that top side. We could see the Robo Cassante come out as the standard answer. It looks like we probably will. And whether Curti can find a bit more success in that top side will remain to be seen. Actually opts for the Scion instead. Goes for still a tank to absorb the Rumble's influence, but not necessarily the usual suspect.
Again, so reminder that for Robo, this is a, you know, do your bare minimum shift. And unfortunately, for the first sort of 20 minutes of the last game, he did. And then sort of really let himself down as the game got into that hyper late stage. Now, blind picking here going to be Kayney. We'll see what it is that he opts to take into that mid lane. So far, they've got a good amount of dive with the Scion and the Nocturne. They're going to pair that up with the Akali. Blind into the mid lane. No Galio ban. So for Cody, if he wants to go into something that's maybe not necessarily fully into his wheelhouse, but something that absolutely destroys Akali, this is the time to pull it out.
Yep, let's see what the answer is going to be for Cody right now. We do have an honest-to-goodness tank in Robo's hands, which a lot of people are going to be happy about. This does give him a little bit less of a variant to go through. Are we pulling the classic out from 2025?
Oh my word.
It is the Cody Gragas. Okay, now this is the champion that back on his Leviathan days in 2025 first started to prick people's ears up as this guy touted as one of the great LLA mid talents. Was absolutely crushing on this pick. The mechanics were on point, and he was able to be a huge teamfight influence and lane smasher. Now, he's into Akali. They're both melee, but Gragas is famously hard to push out of lanes. That's why we see him neutralizing so many top matchups. But Rude, how are we feeling about the return of mid Gragas right now?
So the idea behind Galio is you have this big AoE spell that sort of makes the Akali Shroud pretty redundant. Gragas has the same thing in his ulti. You put the ult in the middle of the Shroud, one way or the other, the Akali's coming out. Yeah, so I really don't mind this. I'm all for the answer. I think that typically Akali does pretty weak into those, weakly into the majority of melee picks, but with the Gragas there being one of them, this could very well be the source that is needed here to send Fluxu to that 2-0.
Okay, let's see it, Cody. I was wanting you to take a bit more agency in this second game, and that certainly seems to be the possibility right now, bearing in mind that they still do have Peach on the Aatrox to carry. They have Bao on the Corki as well, so there's a lot of damage coming through here for the side of Fluxu, and a lot of kind of interesting utility options to play with. The Pain fans a little confused, perhaps, not quite sure what they're looking at, but to be fair, I think you can probably expand that to the entirety of 2026, and it probably still just about holds.
Yeah, and we'll see, of course, if any of that changes. But likelihood for this series here, it could still be a turning point. Could still see Pain find a win here, maybe take a series as well. But we've got a pretty decent composition here for Pain Gaming. Like, if there is any game that I fancy them taking, could very easily see this. This is up against some pretty off-meta picks. As far as the Gragas goes, Aatrox in the jungle, not necessarily off-meta, but definitely lower in priority than, let's say, a Nocturne.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't even need to be the first game that Pain wins this split. They have managed to take some W's off some teams elsewhere in the standings, so it's not totally out of contention for them to find that again here today. And let's see if they can show us something just a little bit more. As we said, they are out of playoffs contention. They can play pretty much without any pressure going through the rest of this split. It's purely about the performances you put out on the Rift, no implications beyond that stage. So with that mental shackle perhaps removed, Pain with a chance to show us a little bit more. We'll see how these matchups end up playing out. Obviously, my mind is going to be pretty closely tied to this Gragas in the mid lane, just as the most interesting champion on the field. And generally, Cody does draw the eye to him in the way that he plays.
And I mean, the way that this matchup, outside of that level 6 interaction is going to work is that the Gragas can actually function as this range pick, using the barrel to sort of roll out onto the backline, can quite easily fend for himself. Hold This Wave has that innate sustain from the passive sort of every 8 or 10 seconds. After casting a spell, you will get a small amount of health back. So it's just that extra added bonus to keep you easily topped off in this mid lane where it is double teleports for these guys. So lots of ability to go back to base. Let's see if we can find this nice early recall on both sides and start to pick up, Dark Seal, Rod of Ages, whatever it is that they end up looking for.
Pain shoving in across the board right now, giving Carioca plenty of room to comfortably farm his way up to that level 6, ideally. Peach as well. I mean, this Aatrox, the pick, the only thing that terrifies me about this Aatrox jungle is just how much damage this champion does with absolutely no items in jungle. It is crazy, like, how hard he can 1v1 people. If you land the Darkin Blades, it's wild how strong he is. And he just doesn't need any investment. Yeah, he just doesn't need any investment to get there.
Well, of course, he and Carioca pretty much even on their clears. The Nocturne, if anything, here in this case has slightly outpaced the Aatrox, but we can see Trade of Crabs, quite quiet early game. We think that if this continues, looking quite favourable for Pain Gaming. Corki Nami an item, or a really powerful laning phase, but also turns on really hard on that one item spike. But Robo here caught out a little bit too far forward.
Yeah, going to be forced to flash away, but Peach follows it up with the Darkened Blades. Cannot pull him back with the Infernal Chains, though, and a channeled Devastating Smash will dissuade any further assault. So 2 flashes traded, jungle for top lane.
Yeah, and it's actually an overflash from Peach there. I think he flashes and Robo is on the inside of his Q2, so he doesn't get the knock-up, which then means it's actually quite okay for Robo to just walk that out, which, again, in that case, is a very favourable outcome for him. Carioca takes the time, sniffs out some chickens, and it seems like Peach has been spotted trying to do the same thing.
Kaney going to go and take a look, see at what's going on right here. Peach is behind enemy lines without flash. Has just been spotted right there. Is going to have to go for the execute. Kaney going to try and dash into range using the Shuriken, using the Shroud. Flashes, but doesn't quite tag him with the 5-point strike at the end. That's unfortunate for Kaney, using all of that time, but does not get any credit.
Yeah, that does feel bad. So
yeah.
No two ways about it. Peach, caught with his hand in the cookie jar, is fortunately able to get out without giving over any gold. First blood still on the board, up for grabs. And as far as flashless mid laners go and free money bags, Akali definitely not one of them. You do have to work quite hard to take out an Akali even when she doesn't have flash. So I think that spell not being there may be just a safety net for Cody more than anything else.
Not ideal for the guy, but sadly, that is going to be the response. Cody going to keep on pushing this wave out, starting out with the tier, and I'm wondering what the current mid lane Gragas build is. I'm interested to see if it's going to be... So we're obviously going to have a Seraphs at some point, if we're going to go into sort of early bursts with Shadow Flame, if we're going to be doing some sort of Cosmic Drive, Rod of Ages, or if we're just going to be tanking it up. And Kaney just got level 6, actually, commits the appropriate execution. Cody without an ultimate. And no hesitation from the Pain mid laner to knock down Cody.
perfect timing on that. Knew his level up timer perfectly as now the bot side start fighting as well.
Ooh, Bao not having a great time here. Trigger does take a little bit of damage back, sidesteps the bubble, Momochi has to flash away, and Curry, the healthiest of all, flashes in to look for more, gets the barrier out of Bao. And the Pain 2v2 goes wonderfully for them.
Yeah, this is looking like a very solid start to this game for Pain Gaming. Again, a composition that honestly does just fine as the game gets later. They are not in any way, under pressure to find this advantage, but at the minute, they're having a good time. Things are looking up for them in this one, and now they'll find a second look. It looks like pick onto Cody.
First Paranoia onto this Gragas. The Explosive Cask knocks away the Nocturne, but Kaney still getting into range. Doesn't have the ultimate yet, and Peach round the corner. Still level 5, but can do a lot of damage, as we said. It will dissuade Pain from pushing for more. Cody under a lot of pressure this game.
Alrighty, not quite a kill in the mid lane as hypothesized, but we get to see this play in the mid lane once again here. So Kaney knows that he's like 1, maybe 2 minions off of level 6 as he goes for this trade. And as one minion goes down, he dings over to level 6. Cody, obviously with no body slam because he just missed it in the mid lane, does end up falling. Really small, really easy, but well executed mechanics from Kaney.
Peach working on the Dragon solo right now. Karioka up on the top side will not be contesting him. Curtis trying to get a push in right here, and there's no Paranoia available, but you don't want to be stuck too far pushing into the enemy tower with the jungle on your side. Nocturne pathing away for the time being. So Pain, with that first kill found, a modest gold lead opened up in this early game. The Dragon secured by Fluxu, but generally speaking, kind of all the lanes have been very comfortable for Pain. Kill for Kaney, 2v2 win for Trigger and Curry, and Robo happily absorbing the Rumble.
And that's like we've said, best case scenario here. So can't really complain thus far. But Pain Gaming had a lead, a little bit of one at least, in game number 1. There were issues that plagued them that meant that they ended up throwing it all away. So we're hoping that doesn't happen this time round. And with a composition like this, even if they do have a couple of tosses, a couple of chucks, high possibility that they're still able to just come away with the win anyway.
We'll need to see what Fluxu can do without a lead to play through, without some sort of driving force to get them through. And even though Peach has the Aatrox to give him some carry influence, he doesn't have the same playmaking potential as a Jarvan, as even something like a Xin Zhao that can just kind of dive in, using that gap close to find the knock-up, split them apart with the Crescent Guard. It's a bit more reliant on the rest of the team to set him up. And in terms of setup, it's really just Momochi and I guess Cody Barrel to knock back someone into range. There's not the biggest playmaking tools on the side of Fluxu. A lot of people who like to get stuck into a team fight, but not that much in the way of utility.
Really good skirmish comp is the polite phrasing of all of that, where, yeah, if they can get a little bit dirty with the team fights and they don't look too clean in terms of 5v5, we're good. But Pain Gaming, they are bearing down on the bot side of Fluxu right now.
4 versus 2. Nocturne and Akali looking for the dive. The bubble is good, and the wave as well. Trigger takes a lot of damage, and Bao's getting some licks in himself. 3 Pain members very, very low as a TP from Cody dissuades any further dive. So just the 1 kill for Pain there.
Last far too little and far too late there from Cody. Sort of TP's in, watches his bot laner clear some creeps, recalls. Cheers, thank you. Kaney's going to have TP advantage now, so this is a really big opportunity for Pain Gaming to continue to bully Cody here. This sort of pocket pick patented mid lane that he's quite sort of famed for, really not holding up much weight thus far. And I see that Ruby Crystal in his inventory. It has to be Rod of Ages, but I think that if you go for that, you're just waiting so long to do anything.
Oof. Peach caught by the invisible knockup out of the brush, has to flash an ult to get away from Karioka, as Kurti could do nothing to help him. So again, Peach stifled in this early game, has to simply walk away with no ult available for him. Takes a lot of the sting out of that Aatrox scuffling potential. It's Cody and Kaney simply trading spells in the mid lane. It's Curry waiting to see what he can do as well. So Pain are very happy to play on their own terms, right? They're waiting for just wait for the ults to come back up, see what they can set up, and not being drawn into any nonsense. But they are happily rebuffing Fluxu's attempts to capitalize on those missed spells. They're not giving up a lot while they don't have the ultimates to bear.
Yeah, game looks good right now for Pain Gaming, and hopefully they can see this one through. Obviously, up on that top side, Robo, not having the best of time of things, losing out on a few platings. But he's even in gold, even on farm. He's got a cull in his back pocket as well. Again, similar setup to what we had from game number 1. Doing a really good start off to this game. Can they keep pace almost with this Fluxu roster? As once again, attention drawn to this bot side. Kaney's got push, and I don't think they're going to be successful this time.
Robo burning from the equalizer, just about alive. Curti failing to find the solo kill. He will grab another plate off this next wave if he sticks around for it. And Kaney did not get his way into that bot lane for another dive. Bao Momochi not to be drawn too far away from the safety of the turret.
Kaney here, good trade. Cody dodges out on that Shuriken flip, and a lot of damage actually in the Akali E. If you've never played up against the Akali, or if you have and don't know what's doing so much damage to you, Akali E, deceptively strong.
Peach comes in to get a piece of Kaney this time as well. Gets to be some trading, so a little bit of farming as well by the look of it. I'm sure Cody's okay with that one, as the Infernal Change does not land. It was blind, to be fair. Could only see the Ghost in that sweeper, giving a hint of their last known position. As Peach going to check on some topside camps. Carioca is in the river on that topside with Paranoia available. Hextech completed.
Scion ulti too.
Calls the ultimate. World Ender popped by the Aatrox trying to get to safety. Cody can disengage if they need. And ultimately, just the junglers trading ultimates. Cody throws a cask, but does not get through the spell shield of Carioca. And now Robo a little bit isolated, but he is a Scion, pretty hard to lock down. Drops his own ultimate as well. We're all just kind of popping the ultimates to no effect, and let's just go back to farming, I guess.
Yeah, one of my favourite phrases here. Lots of pretty colours, but nobody dies. All the ultis tossed, and that's just about it, really. Nice to see that at least Fluxu aren't dissuaded from trying to take these fights. You know, they are looking quite aggressively into this, but weren't really able to make anything stick there. And, you know, to say Pain Gaming had this early advantage, it hasn't particularly ballooned necessarily. You know, we aren't seeing masses and masses of gold be accrued by any individual member over their counterpart, as that roam from Robo did cost him quite dearly. This in tandem with the fact that he has been forced out of lane a couple of times. Now down 2 levels on the Rumble. Yeah, he's about to ding level 10, probably off the next wave, if not this one. But not feeling too great this time out.
Yeah, it is. You know, the plays that have been made by Pain, the successful ones, have given them a little bit of gold, but they've not been able to passively accrue advantages through what seems to be much more comfortable lanes, especially mid and bot lane. They're not actually growing that lead just through the laning. They have to find an opportunity to create a skirmish, create a team fight over an objective. That's where they found the success so far. And Fluxu seem happy to just kind of to wait and see, and just let the game play out for the time being, and then maybe we'll see what the game plan is later on.
Kenny picks up another roll into the mid lane. Dragon is live down on this bot side. Pain Gaming forfeited the first one. Fluxu, though, look like they are going to do the same trick for the second. As Pain Gaming have got 4 people down on this bot side. Peach is up on his blue buff. This is forfeit. This is Pain Gaming finding themselves their neutral objective first of all in this game, with 3 gubs being picked up by Fluxu. They're the ones that might even start to put their attention on towards this mid lane turret as well.
Ooh. Orky and Yunara both getting shredded now by both getting a chance to wail on each other for a moment. They'll step away. Cody, the last quest yet to be completed in the mid lane, but he's going to keep dealing with Kaney in the bot lane now. And do we have a dive booking on Robo? There is vision there. It is a pretty tanky Scion. They do seem to be considering it very heavily. They now know they have been spotted already, and they'll probably back away at this stage.
Maybe we see Carioca dart into this mid lane. I mean, Carioca on the Nocturne experimental hex plate, so does do a lot of work to try and find that damage, but being spotted out on that bot side means that Peach can walk up into the top side, and looks like we're going to see just a nice little trade of these camps. Momochi going to spot out the Nocturne as that falls, but Curry and Trigger spotted on vision. Are they looking for a play here? Lots of jostling here as Momochi takes a big chunk of his health.
Paranoia and Wild Growth used to try and get Aatrox off Curry's back. The Polymorph as well is dropping very, very low, and a flash away from Trigger takes that kill. Peach the first to fall. In come the rest of Pain piling in. Momochi's pretty low, knocked up by the wave. Lovely cask punishes Kaney, and he has to ult to safety. Keeps the losses at only 1 for Fluxu, but ultimately they wanted to find more.
Yeah, I mean, that looked so bad for so long. I'm surprised that Fluxu only lost 1 there, as Katie is here with Equalizer, could try and drop that on Robo.
Yeah, forces the traded ultimate once again as well, and Robo's likely going to be pushed around for a little bit more. There's plates for Curti to pick up as Pain's already used all of their tools in that mid lane fight.
Let's take a replay of it. Looks like Peach is the one who thinks that he spotted something that ultimately didn't exist. Curry shows him the Lulu experience, gets knocked up, gets polymorphed, gets feared, gets killed. It's not a fun replay for Peach to take a look at. As Cody goes in here, Karaoke with a good flash dodges out on the belly slam, means that it's the full cooldown for Cody, and he has to flash away also. The whole time, Trigger free firing on this Yunara, not yet at that 3-item spike, but Fiend Hunter Bolt's not too far away. Infinity Edge won't be long after that, and if that replay, or if that play pattern can be replayed, I expect Trigger to do an immense amount of work later on.
Absolutely. Working on those Fiend Hunter Bolts just now with the Kraken Slayer already completed. We have a Rod of Ages done for Cody with the tier stacking up as well, so he's only just getting to the point where he has some real AP to try and throw around in a fight as well. Haney has not been struggling for damage, 1,000 gold lead over the counterpart, and just the Protobelt and Chainlace Crushers were more than enough to threaten what Fluxu wanted to achieve right here. Peach returning to the scene of the crime around mid lane. Trigger still getting traded pretty heavily on no flash, remember, but someone's got to get in range. Flash away from Corky, keeps Bout alive. Curry once again just about surviving, but Peach gets there. There's the reset he needed, turns it into the double, looks for the triple, and Aatrox brings the hammer down on Pain.
Oh, and it's been so long coming here. Peach 0-2 at the beginning of that play finally gets unleashed and turns this fight into a Fluxu W on the mid lane. Curdy still doing insane amounts of work on this top side, and look who's here to help out. It's a rogue Sushi.
With the bubble, the Soul Furnace keeps Probo alive, cannot quite get tagged by the harpoon from Curti, and he continually survives. Credit to Robo, he has been low for a large stretch of this game, but he is not going down.
Yeah, Curti with this Liandry's, he's putting in a good amount of work, but not quite enough to find that solo kill. Now Cody, dodge out on that Shuriken flip, does mean he's able to walk away from Kaney here, who was sort of waiting in the wings, trying to find that quick pick.
And it's such a different, it looks like it might be the same story for a moment, where there's three Pain members surrounding the ulted Aatrox, but there is some critical differences. No summoners available, they don't have the spells on cooldown, and it's a very different story.
It was the same story that ended differently almost here, so
yeah.
Like, Polymorph was used on the Aatrox, the Wild Growth used to disrupt him, as you see Cody and Kaney again throwing hands on this bot side, but this time round, Peach is actually able to stand it out, stand firm, and play the game out as needed. So we will see whether or not that's enough. We can take a look forward and hope that this fight around the dragon in about 20 seconds is going to be, if it's going to be taken by either side. Looks like Vision currently in favor of Fluxu, and look at those item breakpoints. Rod of Ages finished for Cody, working his way towards that Seraph. So it is, do nothing early game, hopefully have damage later on for the Gragas. No Fiend Hunter Bolts just yet, though, for the Yunara. So that big ticket fight that you might have been hoping to take around that 2-item spike doesn't yet exist.
Herald charge into the mid lane. Fluxu sticking with it. They won't quite complete that outer turret destruction, though, as Cody is going to have to head back down to deal with Kaney on the bot side once again. Once he has that Seraphs completed, he should have, I think, enough survivability to really take a lot of that threat away from the Akali, and can handle the side lane a lot better while having still decent damage if he can catch a high quality target like Trigger. Flashes in, but there's no ultimate. There it is. It's very delayed, and Trigger can simply dash to the other side of it. A little hesitation there from Fluxu, and now we're kind of split through the pit right now. TP's coming in on both sides. The paranoia could add some confusion. Fluxu managed to recoalesce, though. We're back to battle lines. Robo on the front line, absorbing a lot of damage. The Rumble ultimate trying to cut off the escape. Trigger's on the wrong side of the wall. He can't get over. He has to flash, and the Wild Growth too. Peach catches a Darkened Blade onto Kaney, and they'll move back to the Drake. Fluxu excellently managed that one out and returned to the objective.
Some members of Fluxu excellently managed that one. Some others are happy that they've got teammates, because holy moly, did I see some Gragas play right there. But fortunately enough, Peach did well. Curti with an excellent equalizer, like you said in the call, Trajan, split up the fight. It's going to be Dragon number 2 picked up for Fluxu. Now, did they commit too much for this? This is a 2v2 that I think both teams know about.
3v2 developing, as Cody's going to be able to slow down Kaney's advance. Curry's in the back pocket just if needed. Shuriken cannot quite connect. and it's a bit sweaty, but they will still walk away. So Dragon's 2-1 now for Fluxu. The gold is basically dead even. They managed to hold Pain from growing the lead. That mid lane injection, the triple kill into Peach, completely evaporated it. And it seems like Fluxu, even when they do kind of put themselves in a bit of a bad spot or don't necessarily execute correctly, we're not seeing any punish from Pain, not effectively.
Yeah, not really, and that's a bit of a problem, right? If you want to be able to take these games, take these series, then it is not just being able to make the plays, but also capitalize on the ones that your enemies give you. Really, as Fluxu, not impervious to mistakes. They'll make more yet in this game. They've got 2-item spike come through for Bao. That Trinity Force Muramana means that he is probably at apex strength right now with that Imperial Mandate alongside on Momochi. This Corki hurts. And hurts real bad. The Yunara still has strength to go to. Looking like a Last Whisper as that third item as opposed to the Infinity Edge, but will still do good work regardless once the IE is picked up.
I've been enjoying the periodic matches between Trigger and Bao where they just walk each other and auto-attack each other, as we do have a dive onto Curti. The turret's already gone down. This is a clean execution from Pain. No notes on that one. As Peach round the corner, there's no ultimates now to stop him. If he's going to land that first Darken Blade proc. Kaney could be in trouble, has to burn the flash to escape. Momochi coming around the corner. Cannot find any further angle. But yeah, I've been enjoying how Pain and Trigger just choose like every 3 minutes or so. They walk up to each other, just drop everything, do about the same amount of damage, and they go, okay, nobody wins yet. We'll see you back here in a few minutes. And at some point, someone's gonna start winning that. But currently, I can't split them.
I think at the minute it's 50-50 on like if Trigger crits or not. Soon it's gonna get to 100% crit chance. He's just gonna 3-tap Bao, and then that's not good.
Kaney going aggressive onto Peach. Maybe didn't expect Cody around the corner, but the Shroud will get him out of there. As the bot lane turret drops lower and lower. Explosive cast used into the belly bump. Peach with the World Ender. They've got a Darken Blade to follow it up. Flash in as well.
Wow.
And Fluxu with the re-engage pick up the 1 kill.
I mean, I'm just looking at it and thinking there's no way this works, and then Peach flashes and it works. It's crazy business from him, but manages to find his 4th kill of the game. The 4th kill for Fluxu this game as well. So it's all eyes on Peach this time. Trade of turrets come through as well. We said, didn't we, right? Peach has done so well at sort of getting gold for the rest of the team. This is a champion where he's going to need to get gold for himself, and hey, he's done that.
Momochi getting Nocturne ultimate right now. Probably feels a little bit put upon. Gets the wave out and slows Karaoke under the turret. Gonna be a tough ask to escape. Flashes for the blast cone, but the equalizer drops the missiles on his head, and a jungle for support trade. Probably not too bad for Fluxu.
Deer in the headlights there for Karaoke. Just sort of saw a target, felt emboldened by the fact that Peach wasn't going to have ulti to respond, and just saw the first target he could go for. Underneath a tier 1 turret, can do a ton of peeling and healing of their own right, so I don't know, that feels a little bit weird for me. Definitely not worthwhile to trade your life onto a Nami for getting gold on to Curti, who, had been doing okay in this top matchup, but Robo had held his own for the most part, so it feels a little bit bad for Robo in this case.
Yeah, now accelerating Curtis onto 2 items completed. Leandries and Bloodletter's got to be opening the gates for Cody to do a bit more damage in the fights as well. As Robo may be under threat right here. Curti and Bao, I mean, they can't really stop him from doing anything. They can certainly hit him with things, but without putting their bodies on the line, they can't really get in his way.
The issue here is that Curti, obviously the one who has to stand in front as that melee champion, but if you're walking in front of the Scion, it means your Flame Spitter's not going the right way. Which you're also not killing him, so it's like a really catch-22 situation for the Rumble.
Yeah,
to actually
spinning rapidly on the spot to be continually tagging him. It's the micro on display. Maybe we need to get some sort of StarCraft 2 Pro to micro that one out, but or they could just let him go, and
that's the end.
And not sweat it out too much.
But we've got Drake spawning in 30 seconds. Those 2 ults aren't going to be available, which is almost a pound for pound what happened in the last Dragon fight as well. So. Definitely a strange set of situations that we are seeing before us.
Cody just like hefts a brick at Trigger and he goes, oh shit, and jumps out the way. Like, okay, well, every single time before they go up to a team fight, it's working pretty well for them. Now, Kaney's on the flank. He's being marked by Curti right now. I feel like Curti maybe is at risk to try and do this on his own, but Peach is currently just strolling around the river as though nobody can stop him. Robo is being turned on, though. He does, once again, nobody to block him. Cody can't stop him here. We've got another engage on the bot side. Curti being attacked by Karaoke, the equalizer to slow down the re-engage. Peach has been put into that polymorph, but Robo's back in. Watch out for this Aatrox. He needs to be the carry. Watch out for Bao and Trigger. Where are the auto attacks going? Kane is deep into the backline, but he gets isolated to be sectioned off without a second thought. Re-engage from Cody. He's found Trigger. No ult, no flash. Double kill for Rumble, and Fluxu are just uncrackable in these plays.
And it's been coming on for the top laner. Curti has done so well this game, and for the first time, he's able to get some kills. The ulti's back up for Cody. I respect the effort from Robo.
And another play stopped, and Robo will not get the TP. That is unfortunate. Dragon stacked up, going to be completed by Peach. That's going to be Cloud Soul point for Fluxu. And it just feels like whatever Pain do, they can't break through.
And a quick peek at the player cams there. Kaney, head in his hands, knows I had the gold lead. I had to be that guy this game, and I've just not done it. Karaoke with a good double jungle, but like that's a very little consequence when he's going to die for it.
You've stolen the blue buff, but it is a rental, not an ownership deal. You're just going to give that right back over at Kurt. He's going to take control of that one.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Yeah, I mean, Kaney's in bot side with TP if he wants to try and get into this play, but they don't have a top laner or a jungler, and you normally need one of those to take the Baron.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, they've got a marksman and a can-do attitude, then maybe something can happen.
Yeah,
but...
they've got Moxie and Gumption and all sorts of other things that don't do any damage to Baron, so...
A lot of intangibles, unfortunately.
Oh yes. I'm sure the Pain fans could do without some of the intangibles they've seen from their team this split. But Curry's going to run for the hills. Peach is going to get right back to farming. Not even going to pull a reset timer. As Karaoke's just coming off the fountain. Robo and Curry aren't happy about this, and Robo's going to take some of those camps back. But the full reset's going to come through, and Peach is actually now alone here, so probably time to leave.
Yeah, I mean, he just sort of spent a long time distracting.
Yeah.
The two top and jungler.
Just shoving them and kind of poking
there are a
them
lot of phrases that we have for that, none of which are broadcast safe, and I was really trying to find one.
I know exactly what you were going for, and I expect and agree with your decision not to go for it. I've already dropped a minor swear word on this game, so let's probably cap it at that one for the sake of our own PG rating. Okay, Fluxu, Baron in hand, heading into the spot side. Aatrox is solo in the mid lane, though, so a lot of that team fight power is in the mid lane, and Pain have been happy to look for plays if they wish. They have a Nocturne, they have an Akali, they look for a flank angle. Aatrox is nowhere near. The knockup is good, but Karaoke has already gone down. The Corki burst is massive. Kaney tries to get an execution, but he just doesn't have the sauce.
Here comes Peach.
Where has the sauce gone? They're fresh out. The bottle's empty. And Pain looked like they had an angle, but it goes completely wrong again.
Yeah, and it looked like Trigger was just going to go absolutely buck wild in that fight. Just didn't have the damage, and I, for the life of me, can't tell you why. I mean, maybe it's Momochi on the Nami giving a boatload of heals. Maybe it's the little bits of passive healing from the Gragas, but for all intents and purposes, Fluxu should not have 3 members that are full HP closing out game 2.
My words, no matter what Pain threw at them, Fluxu just refused to buckle under that pressure. Peach on the Aatrox leading his team 3.5k up. Another massive series from him. The turnaround for the Fluxu jungler continues unabated. And I'll be honest, the Cody Gragas ended up being the least exciting thing about that game. But ultimately, Fluxu, it is Pain Gaming. It's not exactly the hardest opponent they have, but they are now 4-2 and second place in the CBLOL.
Yeah, I mean, they've played Pain Gaming, but they've also played pretty much everybody else at this stage in the CBLOL, and they've come away with 4 wins. I mean, they've got Los Grandes up next week, so that's okay. That's not an awful matchup to have. It's not like you've got to take on Red, but Fluxu, sole possession of second. Furrier and Cade Stars will attempt to find a way back into that. They don't play each other tomorrow, so there's an option for them both to find a 4-2 alongside, but this is quickly turning into Fluxu randomly having a heater split.
It's Fluxu season, everybody. I hope you're excited and ready for Fluxu season, because we're deep in the thick of it now. My word, we love to see it. We absolutely love to see it. We don't like to see teams with no hope, with nothing going on, nothing to play for. Leviathan's got their first win as of last week or the week before. Fluxu are just rocketing up the standings. And honestly, I'm happy for them. Happy for the vibes to be turned around decidedly for this organization, for some of these players. And we'll have to see where this train ends for them, I suppose. Yeah, potentially with Los Grandes next week. Los Grandes continuing to stall out on the tracks, and Fluxu just picking up speed.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really interesting matchup. That'll be a real litmus test for both of these teams, is to see where they are in the standings. Because, I mean, odds are none of us are saying that they are like contenders for the playoffs, or like they'll make it to the playoffs, but we're not expecting them to do much when they get there. We've got your teams, you've got VKS, you've got Furia, we've got Red, who we're expecting big things from, but there's always going to be some teams on the periphery. There's always going to be your Loses, your Fluxus. So it's all about how they end up playing with one another, and whether or not they can show us enough to give us some confidence moving into the postseason.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Now, I will take a brief moment to thank We Like the LOL for subscribing with Twitch Prime. Thank you very much. We do appreciate it here at the CBLOL English. And I think with that, I'll be honest, I don't want to talk about pain as the last thing we talk about today. No. I don't think there's anything new to say, and I'd rather end on the positive note. So with that, thank you, Roodood. We are very happy to have you back. I have very much missed casting with you. It's a blast as always. And thank you, Rose, for jumping on the production, doing a fantastic job as always. Thank you, folks, for watching. You can follow us on socials at CBLOL English. You can follow us or subscribe with us here on Twitch at CBLOL_English, and you can join our community Discord to submit questions to the podcast, to share your content, your jokes, your memes, your thoughts. As Rose says, they might make it onto the broadcast, depending on if they're actually funny. And otherwise, you can talk to us about the league, and we all love talking about the CBLOL here. So thank you, everybody, one last time for watching. We will see you back here, same time, same place tomorrow for more CBLOL English action. And with that, we hope you enjoy the rest of your Saturday.